borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Everybody talking quarterbacks all over the country. Arch Manning, who apparently can run, down in Texas for a short period of time as they wait on Quinn Ewers to come back. Will Quinn be back before Red River? They've got some time to work on that. Arch will get a start. And then, of course, Jalen Milroe on the road, looking good through 3 games, 8 touchdown passes, 6 touchdown runs. And then there's the new guy at Auburn, Hank Brown. I said last night on Dunaway After Dark on Sunday night, am I the only guy that's tapping brakes here and not hitting the gas pedal on Hank Brown? Am I the slow play? Am I the slow play guy here?
I mean, I don't know how much we know. I don't think Peyton Thorne would have done anything differently.
I don't think so either.
Well, look, Hank Brown, every pass that was caught by an Auburn uniform.
That's a good start.
So that was an improvement over the week before, right? But with Hank Brown, I mean, I think you've got to understand that's as easy as it'll ever be for him again. New Mexico, I mean, they play La Monroe. If he's the starter for the rest of the year, there's a chance La Monroe's worse than New Mexico. I don't really know who would play if La Monroe and New Mexico met today on a neutral site.
Probably New Mexico's favorite, but yeah.
To your
not
point,
a game I'm watching.
To your point, DJ Lagway looked really good against Sanford.
That's right. And you put him against an SEC defense at home. What happened there? I was wrong about that, Jim. I'll go and take that one.
I don't think that one matters.
Yeah. But Hank Brown, I mean, it's about to step up a little bit with Arkansas. Then it'll step up even more with Oklahoma. And then it's Chinese arithmetic with Georgia. I mean, it is going to get real for him quickly, and we'll see how. That's how you'll know if this is the right move. That's the only way you'll find that out.
Yeah, look, I think he's got a lot of confidence coming out of that game. I mean, receivers were running wide open, made a couple of good throws, didn't make any mistakes.
What was it, a 50-yarder to count?
No, that was a gorgeous throw, man.
Keandre Lambert-Smith, and that was perfect.
That was a gorgeous throw.
Look, he's got an arm. And we didn't get to see him play with Cam Coleman.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's something you do have to factor in. And in the first half, he was better in the second half. In the first half, Auburn couldn't run the ball, which was super puzzling because everybody runs it on New Mexico State. They were giving up almost 8 yards a run coming into that game. So he was doing what he was doing in the first half without any run support, which for a young quarterback, that's a lot to ask is, you can't run the ball, so go out there and be good at quarterback.
Well, I here's the thing. So the big question coming out of California was, how bad is this offense? What are they going to do at quarterback? Now, coming out of New Mexico, and I know adjustments were made in the second half, but the first half, that defense struggled.
Yeah, there seemed to be like this, I'll call it a black hole in the middle of their defense where they could find an open receiver all night long.
I don't know why they weren't throwing more to the middle of the field. The middle of the field was wide open.
Yeah. It was crazy how
and those
coverages was.
Long white receivers had to make weird adjustments because Dampierre was so off on some of his throws.
Yeah, he's a ball. I like Dampierre. That's a tough kid, man. He just runs and throws. I would say this, watching the first half, Hank Brown was far from your concern if you're an Auburn fan. If you just watched the first half of that game and turned it off and you got no clue what else happened, you watch it and you're like, quarterback is the least of my worries right now. My team can't run the ball, and they can't stop New Mexico. New Mexico's doing anything they want on offense. That was the first half. It obviously got better in the second half, but you're watching that game to see what Hank Brown did, and you were like, my gosh, Hank Brown is far from the issue right now in the first half.
Let's get a couple of reactions from Hugh Freeze after the game, 4-5 Rockstar, from Auburn's head coach, who, it had to be a tough decision for him to pull Peyton Thorne, and then as you go through the quarterbacks, you don't want to embarrass Peyton. He sits there over the bench. I just wonder, we'll ask Peyton about this, where his head is and what the conversation is moving forward. Peyton on the show tomorrow at 9:30 Central Time. He'll join us right now as QB2 because Hugh Freeze afterwards about the decision he made at quarterback.
I made the decision, and, again, I've stood with Peyton and still believe that he's a good football player. I decided Monday after watching the film, I just didn't tell them until Thursday. I just felt like we left so many plays out there, winning football plays that could win a game for us, and I couldn't put my finger on why, because I know he has the understanding of it, and I just felt like this is what was best for our team, and I don't know if it's if he keeps playing well, it'll be a permanent fix, and if not, maybe it wakes everybody else up that spurs them to be better prepared and make better decisions.
Okay, so right there he says if Hank continues to play well, it's him, but if he doesn't, there may be another chance for Peyton to be QB1 again.
Now, I do think we probably see Peyton at some time getting another start, just because I don't know how good this Auburn team is. I feel like I was wrong on thinking they were going to be more improved than they were. I'm sure you guys got some texts like this over the weekend. I am surprised they're not 3-0, but Cal is a really good team.
I think Cal is a good team.
Yeah, Cal is a good team.
I think Cal's a 9-3, 10-2 type ACC
Still
team.
a game Auburn should have won.
Yes.
Did you guys get some of these texts, though? I said it then, I'll say it again. Hugh Freeze, terrible hire. Will never create a complete team, nor will he ever have a team fully prepared to play quality football.
That's an Auburn fan?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I got one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get a whole lot of Hugh Freeze hate over the weekend.
But in fairness, the one guy who tells me this, he told me from the day he was hired all the way through.
Well, and this guy, I think, said the same thing. I disagree. I think Hugh is a really good coach. The problem is the SEC is this deep. I thought it was a little disturbing when we did hear that Auburn had kind of moved all their chips in on year 3 instead of year 2. I don't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, we did kind of hear this in Dallas, right?
Yeah, it was Brandon Marcello that said it, yeah. And the actions have kind of supported what Brandon said.
It really has. That's what I was going to point out. Yeah. Like, I found it hard to believe when I hear it, and then you watch this product, and I know it's not a finished product yet. And look, I mean, bottom line is they did get the win, and they looked a lot better in the second half. Still, they're about to roll into a really difficult schedule.
Really. To wrap up this 5-game homestand, where they're 2-1 right now, you get Arkansas and Oklahoma. Arkansas's an upgrade in defense from what you saw last week, and then Oklahoma's a really good defense. They may not look like it this week when Tennessee comes to town, but the Sooners are good when they head to Jordan-Hare Stadium. On Hank Brown's performance, our Emily Grace McWhorter at the game, asking Hugh afterwards about his takeaway on Hank.
Coach, what stuck out to you about Hank's performance, and where do you want to see some improvement going forward?
I thought he was solid. The rain bothered him a little bit. It bothered all of us, I think, right before half. He had a couple of incompletions that were iffy with that, but other than that, he missed a few throwing into blitzes that I'd like to see him get. But that comes probably with experience, but I thought it was a very solid night. Decision making was pretty good, other than I think there's 2 throws that kind of stand out in my mind that were that I wish he would have thrown into blitzes, but I thought he got us into the right checks early in the game, and it was good to see him take the RPOs when he had them, and I thought he had a solid first game.
Quick and accurate. Quick decisions, accurate throws most of the time.
There were a couple shaky throws earlier. There were a couple that against better defenses might have been picked. There was one that I think you texted me right away, and I agree with you. Then on the goal, it's a pick 6 probably against an SEC team. But that's his first start. I mean, you're going to do those things in your first start. And as the game went, he seemed much more comfortable.
Well, and I'll tell you what will make him much more comfortable if Auburn, the finished product, can have 270 or 268 rushing yards and average almost 7 yards a carry. I don't think that's going to happen. I know you said in the first half they struggled a little bit running the football.
They absolutely struggled running the football in the first half.
But if they can run the football in the second half like they did,
that is correct, yeah.
That was the one thing that was missing in the loss to Cal. I think they didn't lean on Jarquez maybe enough. Maybe they couldn't against that Cal defense. We'll jump into what we saw from the Tide up in Madison. As Daryl sent us, Daryl, one of our great viewers, with his next round hat on up in Madison. What a great phrase. We should have printed this T-shirt before we went out there. There's Daryl up in the upper deck at Camp Randall there. He called it Gump Around instead of Jump Around. We should have had that T-shirt ready to go.
That is pretty good.
No, that's another thing. I think I had some Dunaways that were in Madison, but I got multiple. Hey, this thing wasn't as hyped up as I thought it would be.
But they went all the way up there for Jump Around, and they were disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on TV it looks good. I don't know how it can be much different.
I know.
Right?
It's a song and everybody jumps. I don't know what you had in mind.
I did love the Alabama players gumping around and jumping around and enjoying that. So we'll get to Bama. A couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Dr. B. LT minus the hat today to show off exactly the work.
Yeah, hey, look, make the phone call that me and Brown both made to Dr. B. Schedule that consultation. If you're starting to thin out a little bit, be preemptive. Maintain what you've got. Grow some back. That is what our man, Dr. Beckenstein, can do for you. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Schedule the consultation. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316. I do the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Again, call 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
I barely ate on Sunday because I enjoyed Champy's twice on Friday, twice on Saturday. It was my football food. Way to Wellness was happy that I basically fasted on Sunday as I try to get back on the plan with our friends at Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team will design a plan specifically for you. I know the Meltdown guys live with you today at 2. Lunceford's on the road in New York. They're going through the same process. Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe you want to control blood pressure or cholesterol, those type numbers. You can get it done with our friends at Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team gives you a free evaluation. There's no contracts. There's no sign-up fees. And you get an opportunity maybe to change your life. Many different ways to attack that weight loss, whether it's an eating plan. They've got some other treatments that are very popular down there. To get more details, the website is planforme.com, planforme.com. Go and check it out. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Just in the middle 8, on Mondays we have the Monday Morning Live, Lugan, Bill, and me, 7 to 8. And then the middle 8, you have Ryan in there with Brandon Marcello. And Marcello made a point that maybe we should be talking about Jalen Milroe more than we're talking about Jalen Milroe. Now, maybe here we talk Jalen Milroe a lot because he's the Alabama quarterback. But nationally, in the big noon kickoff on a slow slate, I think a lot of the country got to see Alabama's dual threat quarterback, and it was a great day for Jalen Milroe.
Well, look, I mean, I think Alabama fans are getting numb to the fact, like, it's not normal for your quarterback to go out and have 5 touchdowns every game.
On the road.
Yeah.
Against a Power 5 opponent.
Against a Power 5 opponent. But, I mean, that's kind of what you can count on for Milroe now. It's insane, and we'll see what happens in 2 weeks with Georgia. I know we're going to get to Georgia, Kentucky here in a little bit. I have got a feeling if Milroe stays healthy, I don't know what the Alabama season touchdown record is. It Bryce or is it Mac Jones?
I'll have to look it up. So total touchdowns?
Total touchdowns, yeah. I mean, if he stays healthy, I don't know how he doesn't beat this.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lance on that. It's just nothing but touchdowns.
And it's going to be massive. It's like 50 maybe.
3 games right now, 8 passing, 6 rushing for a total of 14. He is in rare air on quarterbacks that have gone, and this is nationally, quarterbacks who have gone 2 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns in consecutive games.
Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, so the offensive line was finally whole. I thought there were moments, at 14-3, if Wisconsin gets in, and I do think the Braden Locke guy is going to ultimately be better than Tyler Van Dyke. Could be wrong. I mean, it pops out of his hand, though. And he just had some accuracy issues early, but if he hits that 3rd and 3, and that's right after missing that, they push the 44-yarder.
Yeah.
But if he hits that and that thing's 14-10, I don't know. It's a different game.
That was the biggest moment in Kalen DeBoer's early time as the Alabama coach.
The missed Wisconsin field goal?
Missed Wisconsin field goal, 14-3. I've said this several times. I think a lot of Alabama fans have. I would bet you a ton of money with 36 seconds left, up 14-3, on the road in Camp Randall. Nick Saban runs it off tackle or takes a knee, goes to the locker room, and very happy 14-3. Kalen DeBoer with 36 seconds puts it in Jalen Milroe's hands and lets him sling it downfield.
Yeah, Wisconsin got the ball back. I mean, it took 17 seconds, 2 plays.
They couldn't burn the clock off.
And it was boom, great play. And then you mentioned it in the middle 8, an NFL throw for the touchdown.
Both those touchdown throws early. Now, the third touchdown throw to the tight end was just a terrifically schemed play. It's a tight end that's out to practice early. A lot of quarterbacks are going to hit that guy. But Lance, those first 2 touchdown passes were absolutely NFL throws by him. He threw a seed to Ryan Williams. And even though there wasn't coverage on Bernard, he threw it, if there had been blanket coverage, the best coverage you could have.
Yeah, I think
that's a touchdown.
What you're getting with Milroe, obviously he's more comfortable. That second, third read, those aren't happening. Intermediate accuracy, not going to happen. I don't know if it matters. Watching Anthony Richardson struggle again yesterday with the Colts on the road at Green Bay, I think Milroe's got more upside than Anthony Richardson. So I still think Milroe is going to be a first-round guy just based on the fact that you can't control what he does with his legs, and his deep ball is one of the best in college football. Yeah. So I think just based on that, a lot of NFL teams will take a flyer knowing that the intermediate stuff is not there.
Okay, but back to my point on DeBoer there with 36 seconds.
I agree with you. I think it's 14-3 Saban, but I don't think it would have mattered.
Because you were getting the ball coming out, and Saban would have played it. Let's go. We'll come out, score a touchdown.
I'm going to go peel some paint. I'll get their attention. We'll see if they respond. But I brought this up to Brandon. I would love to know the record of teams that go back-to-back like that in the middle 8. It is so hard to beat a team when they score going into the locker room and score coming right out. I mean, just back-to-back possessions, 14 points.
I would say it's about equivalent as a block punt for a touchdown.
It's what it feels like, and I'd love to see the actual numbers. Now, again, it wasn't technically back-to-back because, as Lance said, they couldn't even burn the clock off and Wisconsin got the ball back. But, I mean, those were essentially back-to-back possessions, and it's hard enough to beat Alabama. When you let them do that, score going in and score coming out,
I thought
you're not going to
there
beat
were
them.
3 major positives here for Alabama fans. And I think Jam Miller can be – like he's one of those guys, look, and I know there's going to be a lot of touches in the backfield.
Yeah, because Justice Haynes is just as good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Justice Haynes is really, really good. I think Jam Miller might be just a little bit better.
Yeah, but they got 2 good backs.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The offensive line you finally saw at whole. And I think the most important thing that would excite me is we heard this in fall camp, and we saw it on Saturday, LT Overton. Mm-hmm. The factor that guy can be, not only with the quickness, but the power and his ability to get to the quarterback. I didn't think Locke was getting up after that one hit.
He stole his soul, man.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that was as hard a hit on a quarterback as you'll see anymore in football.
Yeah, that makes you hurry your throws the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Carson Beck watching that after just getting beat up in Lexington, I'm like, ooh, boy, we got to watch out for this guy.
That, and everybody will talk about, bend but don't break defenses and such like that. I love the swagger and attitude of this defense so far, and they are physical right now.
The only issue I had with Alabama's defense Saturday is, boy, they gave up a lot of 3rd and longs. There was one that cut it. I'm trying to remember because there was the one 4th down they didn't get when Deontay Lawson shot the gap and stoned the back.
Yep.
But there was one that I think got it close enough. They went for the fourth down and got it, if memory serves. There were several third and longs that it felt like they gave up too much.
It looked like that because I think if you give up back-to-back, which I think they did, but the bottom line is the Badgers were only 3 of 14 on third downs.
Yeah. So maybe I'm wrong, but that was the only negative I found. Otherwise, you held them under 300 yards. You didn't give up explosive plays, and I think that is – and we'll talk to Klatt some about this because Klatt mentioned it. He's like, they showed time of possession. He's like, look, Alabama's going to lose some time of possessions.
I heard
because they score so quick.
That's right.
Yeah.
National guys say the game was over when Tyler Van Dyke went down. That game was over before they even played it.
Yeah, we look forward to this game for so long when they announced it, and then it turns into this. Rockstar, our Wonder fans sound of the day, and we'll go into the running for our Wonder fans sound of the year, in fact.
Year?
Cut number 3, Rockstar, if you will. This will be if we only go from start of season to the national championship, this will be in the running. This will be on our top 5 finalists for Wonder Fans Sound of the Year. Nominee Luke Fickell after the loss to Bama.
Well, I'll give you guys the same message I just gave them. If you haven't had your ass whooped before, you just did, and it hurts and it's not easy. But in this game, that's going to happen. And it's a part of the game. It stinks. It doesn't mean you didn't work hard. It didn't mean you didn't prepare. It means you didn't get the job done. And whether it's a 1-point loss or a 34-point loss, it's a good old-fashioned ass whooping at home, which hurts.
Yeah. Well,
I like the message. I like him more and more. It was such a bad situation where he's thrown into at Ohio State where he kept it together and they went 6-6, but obviously has developed into a really good coach. And I don't know if you guys heard, talking about former high school all-state wrestler and played linebacker at Ohio State. I'm sure he's probably had his ass whipped before. Yeah. I bet he's the kind of guy that probably whipped 2 guys' asses at the same time in a Burger King parking lot. Seems like a really nice guy now. He's probably mean back in the day.
So he's been on both ends of an ass
whooping. I bet he has. Yeah.
That happens. At Wonder Fans, you can when you've got your beep in the seats, you can earn some great benefits from our friends at for the 47 brand, Dick's Sporting Goods, and a lot of others.
Yeah, look, getting really good feedback on this. Wonder Fan, first of its kind Stadium Rewards app, where sports fans earn real rewards simply by cheering for their favorite team. All you need to do, head to the App Store. Very important. First thing you got to do is download that app, Wonder Fan, WUNDERFAN. Once you do that, check in at the stadium. And let the earnings grow. It's that easy. During each game you attend, you'll earn in the background once you press start. And once you have enough earnings, you can redeem those for cash vouchers to your favorite retailers. Dunaway mentioned Dick's, Champion, Lululemon, 47 brand, and more. There's even weekly ticket giveaways. You can use your points to enter. New rewards added weekly. Again, just head to the App Store and search WonderFan, WUNDERFAN. Start being paid to be a huge fan. Wonder Fan, it pays to be a fan.
And our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, if you find yourself injured, or whether you're playing in a sporting event or at work or in play or whatever you're doing, yard work, Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics can take care of you. The number on the screen, the number to call to find a location near you or schedule an appointment, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Jasper, Alabaster, Fultondale, and all around the Birmingham metro area is where you find this great organization. You see them on football sidelines every Friday night in your neighborhood. They take care of the tweaks, the pulls, the pains, and the breaks. They diagnose you, they treat you, and then the best part, they rehab you back to better health. Orthopedic care, better together. Find your provider, 205-512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Have you guys ever seen a student section clear out quicker than it did after jump around? It still means a lot to those Wisconsin students. Obviously, they stick around for it, but literally they did jump around. I think Wisconsin had the ball coming out of that. Maybe Alabama. I can't remember who had the ball coming out of jump around. They run like 2 plays, and then they do that wide shot, and it was completely empty. It was like a fire drill. I've never seen anything like it.
I would assume that most bars around Madison, and I bet there's some listeners probably like me that leave at halftime, would probably do it going into the fourth quarter. Most bars, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that absolutely. But to your point, Brown, at some point they should make an adjustment. Let's do it midway through the third quarter. Let's surprise you when it's going to be. Yeah. We're this far down.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and let you leave. They jumped around out of the stadium, buddy. I'd never seen anything like it. I was actually kind of impressed. Alabama's got this game in hand, jump around, place still packed. And they did it. And then the next aerial shot they showed was like 3 plays later, and it was empty.
Still, fourth quarter, it might have been more full than what you got at Bill Hill Griffin.
Potentially, yes. Yeah. They did have a rain situation.
More on that coming up. I would tell you that I don't know how good Wisconsin's going to be. I don't know if they're going to end up playing in the Sun Bowl, or I don't know where all the bowls are anymore.
Yeah, without Van Dyke, I don't think very good.
So I'm not, I don't think we're gonna make a T-shirt off of this one. But a good suggestion there from Patrick there. Gump around and found out. That's a good T-shirt. Great T-shirt ideas out of this one.
Gumped around and found out.
Yeah, but I don't know if Wisconsin's going to be good enough that warrants a T-shirt.
Lance, here's the Brandon Marcillo was talking about. It's the middle eight. How it has just never worked with Phil Longo up there. And here's the analogy I used. Wisconsin is the midlife crisis guy driving the red convertible. Like, you went and bought the red convertible, but you're still an old man. Everybody sees an old man driving a red convertible.
Or more so, the conservative CPA that goes out and
That's
buys
right. Yeah,
the red convertible.
You still look like Eli Drinkwitz in a red convertible. And that's what Wisconsin is. Like, you tried to change who you are, but you haven't. You're still a big – because the one drive they had was a 17-play drive where they just leaned on Alabama and methodically worked the ball down the field the way Wisconsin used to. Phil Longo has not worked.
Yeah, I agree. I think there were some Wisconsin fans that were excited about making that transition.
Yeah.
Didn't work last year with Tanner Mordecai, not working with Tyler Van Dyke early, and probably with Braden Locke not going to work either.
You know what it feels a little bit like? An actual
Bill
coaching.
Callahan at Nebraska?
A little bit like Bill Callahan at Nebraska. Tony Franklin at Auburn. You remember when Tuberville was like, I've been one thing all this time. I'm going to bring in this whole new air raid. We're going to do it different. And it was a complete misfit.
Where is Tony Franklin?
No earthly idea.
Yeah, he was at a small school coaching for a while. I don't know where he is now.
But that worked about like Phil Longo has worked.
Hey, a couple more things to get to in this segment. Tyler Booker coming up in just a second, and we'll talk to him about what we saw up in Madison and moving forward for the Crimson Tide. Kalen DeBoer, though, Rockstar, cut number one. Kalen had the opportunity after the game up there to talk about the Tide going on the road, his first road win as the Alabama head coach, and it was close to scripted. Here's Kalen.
Just proud of the guys. Thought it was a solid overall performance. Team football, getting the takeaways and putting points on the board when we got the ball back, getting a stop on fourth down, scoring, getting the field goal, forcing them to a field goal at the end of the half, and then the offense responding with a quick drive. I think, and then coming back in the third quarter too. Those are big. Those are big swings in momentum, and I think our guys with their energy. It was there all week, just knowing that the only choice is always to go back to work, and that's the way it's always going to be. And they did exactly that. I thought it was the best rhythm to practice, and I think they're getting into the flow now of what a game plan week looks like. Last week was the first week where you had your typical week and not some extra days, and this week you could just feel it was all kind of syncing up. So was expecting a good performance, and it's never going to be perfect, but a lot of great things to build off of.
A lot of great things to build off of. We'll talk to Tyler Booker about that coming up in our next segment as we head to break here. Big shout out, by the way, to our buddy Chris and the gang up there, listening to you guys on the way back to Milwaukee for our flight home. You guys have safe travels. Good win up there for the Crimson Tide. We'll talk to Tyler Booker coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing, owned and operated by our buddy Greg from Pell City. If you want that roof right for the winter weather that's coming, make sure you get a free, no-cost roof inspection right now. 20 years locally owned, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and trusted by insurance agency. The best in the business. They handle roof repairs and roof replacements, and that free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. Or you can look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, and also by our friends at New York Butcher.
Yeah, hey, look, stop by, see Jim and the fine folks at the New York Butcher Shop, one-stop shop for everything. You can pick up the fresh meats, the specialty items, the great sides. They've got a fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. The New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop. Get in, see Jim and those fine folks. 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool-Raid. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool-Raid, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Oh my, it's locked in now. Unbeaten Alabama, unbeaten Georgia coming up in 2 weeks. I learned a long time early as a sportscaster. I told the coach, I was like, hey, what are you doing your off week? He's like, son, we don't have off weeks.
Not in the season. No off weeks.
You may be off, but we'll be working our ass off this week.
I'm sure Tyler Booker will as well. He joins us now, the Alabama offensive lineman, each week at this time on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Book? How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. How fun is it to go on the road? You guys love emptying out a stadium. They stuck around for one song, and then, buddy, it looked like a fire drill. That place emptied out in a hurry.
Yeah, real quick. They didn't even stay for jump around, actually. So we left a little before that.
Were you yelling out like, stay for jump around? You got to stay and jump around a little bit.
I was actually telling them to beat the traffic because we already knew the game was wrapped up.
Hey, what was it like to get your man Caden Proctor back out there with you?
Well, it was great. You know, there was at one point where I didn't think I was going to have him this year, but to have him back is great to continue to build that continuity and take it into this new year. And you can already tell how much of a better player he is, how much better he's gotten. So I'm just excited to continue to build that continuity and really continue to dominate next to him.
Yeah. So for one moment, there was a second you thought, man, this could be season ending, and I got to go 12 plus games without my guy.
No, I didn't think that at all. So when he first got hurt, I was just like, hey man, we'll take it. Like I got to focus on getting Pritch ready now. So, and then after that, going to left tackle for a game, and then hearing what the doctors were saying, hearing what he was saying, at no point did I think it was going to be season ending. So it was more of a matter of when is he going to be back rather than if he's going to be back.
Yeah, my fault there. I misunderstood what you had said previously. Then I want to ask you 4 penalties for the whole team. Compared to what happened against USF and on the road. That had to be a big check on the checklist of things you guys wanted to accomplish. How do you do that? What happens that you can go as many flags thrown in one game and then on the road in a tough place to play to clean it up that much?
Well, so something that Coach DeBoer preaches to us is TNT, and that means take no talent. Like, we have to be 100% in the things that take no talent. So being where you're supposed to be, keeping your hands inside, not moving before the ball is snapped. Those are things that take no talent. So the whole week we just kept reinforcing TNT takes no talent. And if you did something against that, you had to go hit the TNT sign at one of the end zones. So it was just a little reminder of being 100% of things that take no talent.
Tyler Booker is with us, covercrimson.com, by the way, for all of your Alabama coverage. You can sign up for $1 right now and see what you like about it and get started for $1, covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. Tyler's on the johnstonrvcenter.com hotline. Are we seeing, like I see some of your teammates say, guys, what you're seeing out of Ryan Williams in the games is only the tip of the iceberg. Look, I know you're a lineman. You don't always get to see the plays. Are we only seeing the tip of the iceberg out of Alabama's 17-year-old receiver?
Yes, I agree in saying that, and I don't want to put too many expectations on him because that wouldn't be fair to him. But the way Ryan comes in to work every day, the way he's focused, his maturity level, all of his success is no surprise to me. So I'm excited to see how he continues to progress and really be a heavy contributor for us this year.
Hey, what is a post-game Saturday like for you? And I know it depends on, an 11 o'clock home game to a 7:30 away game. But, I mean, typically, is it hard for you to – and I know it would seem interesting because I know you've got to be tired after playing a full game, but you're probably still kind of wired up. I mean, what typically time do you stay up till, and what is a typical aftermath of a Saturday for you?
So we love the 11 o'clock games, especially away, because we'll be able to get back early. We'll be able to actually have some free time to ourselves throughout the day. So when I got back, one of my close friends in Tuscaloosa, his name is Brennan. He had a birthday party. He turned 21. So I went to his birthday party, and Brennan is always he's always at the gate after the game, and he's always looking for me. And ever since my freshman year, he would call my name. I was one of the first people that ever asked me for my autograph by name. So just building that relationship with him, I had to go to his birthday party, and then after that, I put in some hours on my college football dynasty.
Are you playing as Alabama, or are you starting with a lower tier team and working your way up?
Playing as Alabama will be way too easy, so I decided to start off with my home state college of UConn. So I moved them to the ACC to get some heavier competition, some better competition, and that's working out well for me right now.
Hey, the way we're moving things around, they could be in the ACC before you know it. So I want to ask.
I thought about moving them to the Big Ten, but I was like, that would have been too big of a jump.
Yeah.
So I started off with the ACC.
Okay, put that on your ACC bulletin board and smoke it. Okay, so here we go, man. 36 seconds left in the first half. Missed field goal. And in the past, it seems like maybe a knee or a runoff tackle. Kalen DeBoer says, here, offense, here's the ball. See what you can do with 36 seconds. And in 2 plays, you scored a touchdown. What did that do for you as a player, your offensive guys, going into that locker room?
It just gave us so much confidence in the game. The score of the game didn't tell the story of the game. I feel like up front we were physically dominating them. But on the other side, they were running the ball a lot as well. So we didn't have that many opportunities to score. So going into that 36 seconds, it was only 14-3. It was a ball game. And even though we scored, it was still a ball game at 21-3. But we knew the whole week our mindset was to empty out this stadium as fast as possible. So Coach DeBoer trusting us to do that, that showed me a lot about him. And that's just a testament to how explosive we are as an offense.
Did you dance to jump around? What did you do for jump around?
I jumped a little bit once I saw everybody leave. Once I saw how empty the stadium was, I jumped a little bit.
Was their team like they showed the Alabama players? Their team was not dancing, right? Like they weren't dancing on the other sidelines. That would have been a bad look.
Yeah, it's hard to dance when you're down 25.
Yeah, it is. It is quite difficult. Was there like a deal? Did Coach DeBoer make a deal like, guys, you got to be up by so much to dance for? I mean, was it like a carrot on a stick, or was he just going to let you do what you do?
He's going to let us do what we do. We don't put too much stock into a song. You know what I mean? Our goal was to go out there, dominate, empty the stadium, and then it was a pretty good song. So I guess we jumped around a little bit.
Jeremy Bernard said he heard it all week at practice. Was it played that much at practice last week?
It was, but honestly, it was louder in practice than it was in their stadium because everybody was gone.
Wow.
Are you trying to drive home the point that you emptied out the stadium? I can't pick up on it, Tyler. Are you excited that you emptied out the stadium?
Definitely. I definitely am. And that's the goal. That's what we're supposed to do on the road.
So I know you guys do have the off week, and I know you were working on UConn's dynasty, but were you able to settle in and watch your next opponent, Georgia, struggle on the road against Kentucky?
I watched it in passing. Didn't really focus too much on it, but I don't really want to put too much stock into how a team plays somebody else because I know being Alabama, we're going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody's going to play the best game of their lives when you play Alabama, especially a team like Georgia, especially in an environment like Bryant-Denny. So you can't put too much stock into how they played another team.
All right. What do you eat in the bye week? Do you have to stay on your diet, or do you get a cheat day or two?
I got to stay on my diet, guys. Got to stay on my diet. I'm nice and slim right now, so I got to keep it that way.
Okay.
What was the meal on the way home when you guys boarded the flight?
Mooyah burger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you put on your burger?
I'm a real picky eater, so I'm just a meat, cheese, bun type of guy. If there's bacon, I'll put bacon on it. But other than that,
so no ketchup, no mayonnaise.
Nah. Can't do it.
God, that's dry, man. That is dry. Have you ever tried barbecue sauce on a burger? It's the best way to eat a burger, Buck.
I've done it before, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Not everybody does it the same, so.
Yes, that is true. Yes, my way is not your way. I completely understand that. All right. Well, and as Dunaway said, there are no off weeks this time of year, but enjoy not having a game Saturday. I'll put it that way, and we'll talk Alabama, Georgia with you next Monday.
Yes, sir. Talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.
Thank you, Tyler. Take care. That is Alabama's Tyler Booker with us every Monday on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Don't forget, you can get everything Alabama at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. Join for $1. See how you like it. They got great coverage of Alabama, great shows every week, message boards, all of that. Covercrimson.com.
You didn't hear it wrong. He might have said it wrong.
Yeah.
But he did say he feared Caden Proctor was out for the season. Now, I don't know if that's something that he just misspoke on or he caught himself like, I'm not supposed to say this, but he did say it.
No, I heard the same thing. Now, some people are saying he was referencing him going to Iowa, that he was talking about.
Could have been that.
Yeah. But I heard the same thing you heard because I was like, wait, it was a warm-up injury and he thought he might be done for the year? That does not make sense.
But as a veteran sportscaster, I pretended it was my fault.
Yes.
I misheard something.
True.
Woodhouse Day Spa, if you all want to chill out on a Monday. We got football tonight, so maybe send the wife to Woodhouse so you can continue watching football.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, she's going to absolutely love this. As simple as a gift card, because then she can select what she actually wants from the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can get that gift card 24/7 online. Woodhouse, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Stop in, see Stuart and that great staff located at the Summit Shopping Center. Again, the menu, 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, order that special person gift online 24/7, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Okay, you can get the Gray's tree service ready to go here in a second. Things you got wrong this weekend, not necessarily on the show today. We'll clean up some dead wood from this weekend. In our survival pool.
Oh boy!
I thought I was 100% pulling one over on you guys, because the Lions were major favorites against my Buccaneers.
That's right.
I didn't give us a chance to win that game in Detroit. And Baker Mayfield throws one, runs for one, and we beat the Detroit freaking Lions on the road. That was a big, big win for the Buccaneers.
I love Detroit in that spot, minus 7.5 too.
Yeah.
I give Baker a lot of credit. Very, very gutty. Goff didn't play well. Dan Campbell is, 4th and 12 from your own 20, and look, I know you convert that. You don't do that.
Yeah. I put more stock, and don't get me wrong here. I still think the Buccaneers, will come up short of making the playoffs. But I put more stock in what Tampa Bay did on Sunday in Detroit than what New Orleans did to Dallas.
I disagree.
Because I think the Lions are a better team than Dallas.
Well, they might be, but to go in and basically take Dallas's manhood. And I think this shows you in the NFL anything can happen, because Dallas was so dominant against Cleveland, and then Cleveland, turns right around, and then they play so well. They're up double digits in Jacksonville. But New Orleans, I don't know where this offense is coming from. I heard that Alvin Kamara would have like one of these bounce back years, but the way Derek Carr is playing right now, both very, very impressive 2-0s.
Dennis Allen, we all thought should have been fired last year. And now he's 2-0.
2-0, and they got the best team in the NFL currently.
Yeah, it looks that way. Brown, did you get anything wrong this weekend?
Did you say the best team in the NFL?
Currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I said currently. Through 2 weeks, nobody's played better than them.
Yeah. I think if you did, your top
no,
five, there's no way.
I'm just saying who's played better than them through 2 weeks. They have been dominant, absolutely dominant through 2 weeks. Now they got to play the Panthers.
I would tell you.
Yes, I got wrong.
Did you get anything wrong?
I had Raiders. Also Friday night, the Brown Bandit, I'll speak for him, had Arizona upset alert against Kansas State.
That was men and boys, by the way.
Was not close.
Yeah.
Was not close.
Kansas State.
K-State's legitimate.
They're good. They're good.
Now, they've got a tricky spot. They'll be that late game that everybody will be focused on this week, because they've got to go to Provo to take on BYU. It's 7.5-point favorites, but I think Kansas State's a really good team.
Just some of the things we got wrong this weekend, and we'll continue to get wrong during the show, brought to you by our friends at Gray's Tree Service.
Hey, I want to remind you, hurricane season is supposed to be the worst in years. Don't wait to get tree work done. Protect your house and family today. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. I've had the folks at Gray's come out to my place, extract the 4 trees a couple of months ago. Rockstar has done the exact same thing. Reed's done it. Gray's maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. Call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code right there on the screen, or visit graystree.com.
And, of course, our friends at NASCAR getting ready to race again in the playoffs. 3 playoff races coming to Talladega, all October 4th through the 6th for the Yellowwood 500 weekend. On Friday, you got a truck series, a truck race playoff race, which is really exciting if you've never seen the trucks on the high banks there. Xfinity playoff race on Saturday, the Yellowwood 500, a Cup Series playoff race on Sunday, rodeo, the Buckandega on Friday. You get the Jake Owen concert Saturday night, all with one ticket. Visit TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. And don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Ray, October 4th through the 6th. While we're talking a little NFL here, upsets were the norm yesterday. 6 underdogs won the game outright. New Orleans and Tampa Bay we talked about. You just mentioned the Raiders, Green Bay, Cleveland, and Arizona. Let's go Raiders first. The Ravens are 0-2.
That is stunning. Ravens and Cincinnati 0-2 in that one division. And we expected out of Cincinnati, they're historically a slow starter. But Jace in the MyBookie.ag chat room, his worst of the weekend was, yet again, Lamar Jackson coming up short in a big moment. And look, a Raiders regular season game is not necessarily a big moment, but I understand what he's saying. You need something out of him. Your team's up 10.
10 in the fourth quarter.
And Gardner Minshew just leads them back play after play after play, and Lamar Jackson does nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Lamar was not good yesterday. When you're up 10, though, in the fourth quarter against the Raiders and Gardner Minshew, that's a game you got to be able to close out. Look, game of inches, they could easily be 2-0. Isaiah Likely, the toe just basically touches chalk. They lose that game to Kansas City, and then they have a double-digit lead blown in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, bad start for the Baltimore Ravens.
And then there's your Rams. Everyone, you love your Rams, and everyone's talking about it in the chat room. Did not see the breakout performance from Marvin Harrison Jr. in this game, but it happened.
Yeah, look, I mean, it was going to happen. I didn't see it happening like it happened. Basically, in the first, 8 minutes of that game, I mean, he was just outstanding. But even more so frustrating was, and we saw spots of Kyler Murray. One of the reasons he got a contract extension a couple of years ago was his ability to extend plays and be electrifying, and he was that yesterday. He might have been, and I know a lot of people probably didn't watch it, maybe the best player in the NFL over the weekend. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to get all the talk because he had his coming out party with the 4 grabs and the 2 touchdowns, but Kyler Murray was that good yesterday. They had him bottled up, they had him contained, they had him sacked 3 or 4 different times, and he just made magic with his feet.
Yeah, interesting trend in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is 2-0 with the Chargers. Aaron Rodgers got his first win with the Jets, and we've talked about this. Trevor Lawrence, he's now lost 7 straight starts with the Jaguars, and I wonder if they ever they got into a long-term contract, but they're not winning. He's lost 7 straight starts.
Yeah, that guy's overrated. He definitely is. I don't see it in Trevor Lawrence.
It's a tough guy. I don't know, didn't play well yet. Nope. Yesterday, Cleveland's defense played like we thought Cleveland's defense would play, not the way they played last week against Dallas. And, I go back, ETN, if he doesn't fumble against your Dolphins, they win that game, and they're sitting at 1-1, and maybe they're different. There's a different focus for this game. I don't know, but that is a problem. When you pay a quarterback that kind of money, but, on the other side of that, you got the Deshaun Watson problem. Yeah. Quarterback play has not been good in the NFL in 2 weeks.
I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence right now than Deshaun Watson, even after that win yesterday.
Yeah. That's why they draft 5 or 6 of them every year in the first round.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody's always picking.
But really, even you look at elite quarterback, like Patrick Mahomes had an awful game yesterday by Pat Mahomes. I cannot believe they got out of there with a win.
Had to get a pass interference to get out there.
They did. It was a pass interference, too. I can't argue it. I can't say that's a Chiefs call. He was definitely a half second ahead. The ball floated a little bit too much, but one of those 4th and 16s, you can't give up. And then Butker, of course, drills it, and they act like they're the world champions again. Travis Kelce's playing like he played in the regular season last year, non-existent.
Yep, saving it for when it counts like they seem to do every year. All right, back to college football, still to go in this segment. A couple more things to get to on the college side. After LT tells us about our friends at Inverness Country Club.
Inverness Country Club, it is a great place to meet, network, maybe you're relocated or retired. That is the place you need to check out. They've got memberships that fit absolutely everyone, from the social with the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday night, Sunday brunch, the golf membership with a beautiful course, currently expanding that driving range, child care, also a big plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Best days happen at Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Make sure you tell Aaron the next round sent you. For more information, ICCalabama.com.
My guy Brad Bell, I've got crews over at my house today. We're putting down new carpet and some new flooring in some rooms. When the guy came to do the estimate, he looked at the bathroom. You know what he said? You don't need any work done in here. This is beautiful. Who did this?
Not at all, yeah.
And my wife was like, Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. So that's somebody in the industry looking at it and talking about how good it looks. So Brad Bell is the guy we used when it came time to redo our master bath. My wife scoured the internet. She found Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. He did terrific work in our house. Scott's showing you some before and afters. We were so thrilled with the way it turned out. What we're thrilled most about is that Brad came out. We share with him our vision, and he made that vision happen. He didn't push some vision on us. Lance liked it so much. He had Brad out to do his master bath and now his kitchen, and that's what Brad specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. If you're tired of those outdated rooms in your house, 205-422-1758 is the number to call. That is Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758.
All right, here's the game that LT mentioned earlier that he wanted to circle back to. What happened to Georgia's offense? Listen to Kirby Smart talk about his team barely getting out of Kentucky alive again. Now, this is a trend. In 2020, they went to Lexington and won 14-3. In 2022, they went to Lexington and won 16-6. This year, they went to Lexington and won 13-12. Kirby understands surviving on the road at night in the SEC.
I tried to tell everybody all week, but nobody would listen to me. I know what this team's made out of. I know how tough he coaches. I know several of his coaches on the staff. I've known them for a long time. I have tremendous respect. When they get disrespected like they did last week and they listen to it for a week, they come out ready to play. And I think our kids listened to that. I think they understood it, but I also think it's a tough environment to play in. I'm so proud of the resiliency our kids showed. They never flinched. We thought this would be a blow-by-blow game, and we talked all week about blow-by-blow, deliver more blows than them. And we said the first chop of the tree doesn't chop the tree down. It takes sometimes 272 axe chops, and it took every single one tonight to get the job done. What I will say is I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our leadership. I honestly believe we won this game with culture, and the culture of our team never panicked. I saw more leadership tonight than I've seen all season, and you guys have asked me 1,000 questions about this team this, what about this team this. I don't know much about this team, but I found out more tonight than I've known up to this point, and that makes me extremely proud of how they responded and how they handled some difficult situations.
It felt different. Like, when I was tuned in, I felt like Kentucky could win the game the entire time. I don't know about you guys. I know Georgia's got an elite defense. They have yet in 3 games to give up a touchdown. Not that they have faced really good offenses. Clemson's still probably the best of the offenses they have faced. Dominic Lovett made a big 3rd down conversion at the end. I think Etienne's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't think you've got backs like you had in the past. Maybe going back to the true freshman we saw week 1 against Clemson, maybe that is going to be the future. The offensive line didn't play great. Carson Beck was a little off. They had 9 penalties. They were sloppy. It just felt different, though. It felt like that was like an evenly matched game for a lot of the night, which is really, really weird.
But you know what didn't feel different? I agree with you. I watched that game, and for the first time, I baited myself into thinking Kentucky might win this game. But you know what didn't feel different? It's like Mark Stoops is just fine with it being a close loss against Georgia every time.
It does feel like that.
I just read the numbers to you in Lexington.
Oh, they won every
so close,
every category, Dunaway, statistically, except for passing yards.
Well, I thought the sumo kid was running the football effectively, too.
But it's just like Mark Stoops gets to the end, and they've got that 4th down, and he punts. And I'm like, You get
– You're not going to get it back, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you get once maybe to beat a Georgia team like this.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told him before the game, you've got a 1-point game, are you really going to punt that situation?
He would have said, oh, absolutely not. I'm out near midfield. I'm not going to punt. And it's so conservative. I don't get it. Like, you've got a chance. Your chance to beat Georgia is going for that 4th down and converting it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, and Kirby is right about this, Georgia's culture – once you've punted, they know they've broken you, and you're not getting the ball back, and you didn't.
They knew 1 first down, and
that's right.
This puppy's over with.
Yeah.
AZ says never thought Kentucky would win the game. It was one of those that I have never switched TVs more than I switched this weekend, and I think a lot of it was I just wasn't fascinated by any one game. But Kentucky and Georgia for a good 30 minutes was on the main TV.
It's almost like Stoops knows, I've got a moral victory if I can keep it 1 point right here. Why risk it and take criticism?
We've got the easy cover.
I can't imagine an SEC coach thinking that way, and surely he does not.
There's no way he does, but it does seem like that.
But how does his actions show that he subconsciously thinks that way? Why you wouldn't go for that 4th down is baffling to me. I could not believe it when I saw the punt crew coming out.
Eric Wolford getting some love from the offensive line coach who was in Tuscaloosa. Charlie says we will welcome him back to Tuscaloosa if and when he wants to return there. Was not part of Kalen DeBoer's first coaching staff there. I would say this about his offensive line. What did he do the week before against South Carolina? You know, when they got woodshedded up there. Maybe they were looking ahead. I don't know. I, too, am worried about Georgia by the way they got pushed around in the trenches. But it seems to always happen at least once in the course of a season, and then they turn around. And I know people get tired of me comparing people or things to Nick Saban, but what was one of the first things I tried to point out to you as I listened to the Nick Saban news conferences back in the day? It was when they are really good, he chews their ass out. When he's concerned about them, he loves them up and talks them up. Kirby was loving this team up a little bit after there. He wasn't chewing ass out. He's worried a little bit about this team.
And I think that's the performance. Alabama, I thought there were still some hiccups in Alabama's game against Wisconsin, but they still win by 32 on the road. So I think people will look at that. They'll look at Georgia's struggles, and then they'll look at Georgia as a probably short 2.5-point favorite in Tuscaloosa.
You think that's what it'll be?
You think they'll be favored?
Furman was going to get me a number today. He told me.
I'm guessing it's going to be Georgia 2.5. And I like Georgia in this game right now. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
It'll be a totally different Georgia team when they come to Tuscaloosa.
It will be, yeah. They haven't identified playmakers, though. That's the only thing that concerns me with Georgia.
Yeah, Kirby got what he wanted. The AP, he'll use, I'm sure, the AP poll, dropping him to number 2.
That's right.
Coaches never pay attention to those things until it benefits them, and then all of a sudden they pay attention to them.
Yep.
He'll use that, how they've been disrespected, All Texas had to do is go out and play, and they jumped you. People think you're not Georgia anymore. I mean, he's got 2 weeks to do that now.
And I bet at some point Alabama will be a slight favorite at some point, and he'll use that. If they're not, if they stick to
Kirby will make them one.
Yeah, Georgia's like, hey, I saw some lines that has Alabama minus 2.5.
I mean, Georgia still won 1,000 games in a row. So I still think Georgia, and Kirby will try to, obviously, if he can make a statement, because this is first post Nick Saban, Georgia versus Alabama.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be. He wants it to stay a Nick Saban problem. He doesn't want it to become an Alabama problem.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, don't just say consecutive wins because Alabama beat them in the SEC championship. It's regular season. 41,
I said they've won like 1,000 regular season games in a row.
41 straight regular season, 28 straight SEC regular season games. Is Alabama the last loss?
Yeah.
In Tuscaloosa in the
last
pandemic?
regular season? Maybe so. You saw the SEC Network sent that out, but they did not include the word regular season. It said 28 consecutive conference wins.
Ooh.
And Alabama fans were like, boy, last time I checked, and I don't know, that game played in Atlanta is played by the SEC.
Yeah.
That seems
y'all put logos on it.
Seems like a conference game to me. I don't know.
And I don't know what to think about Texas. Michigan's not good.
Yeah. They are not. They've already benched their quarterback.
And they're a touchdown underdog at home against USC.
Yeah, one of the exciting games this weekend. I personally think Georgia beating Clemson, I know you guys don't love Clemson, is a better win than Texas beating Michigan. When it's all said and done, we'll look and see Clemson is better than Michigan.
I don't disagree. Yeah. I mean, if Clemson and Michigan lined up, I think Clemson wins that game.
Yeah.
The only reason I bumped it in front was the fact it was on the road, not neutral site.
Yeah, and the fact that Michigan is your defending national champions. They had yet to lose a game. They had won 16 consecutive. I mean, there were some factors, but I do think when you look back, I would probably agree with you.
Joel Klatt coming up at 10:30 Central Time in about 30 minutes now. Best and worst of the weekend. Get those rolling into the chat room. Brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. Hemphill Services, who will take care of your heating as we start to cool off in a couple of weeks.
So my thermostat was what was dead in the basement.
Oh,
they got it fixed. Hey, look, they came out Friday morning. They put a new thermostat up. Everything's good. 205-229-2090. Much better news than I thought. The entire unit in the basement was gone. Hey, whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemphill Services. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow Jon Lunceford on Twitter at jlunce.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
You
could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Rays, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hang out with the next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the next round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Forrester is always so fantastic at what he does. I missed this tweet over the weekend, but Forrester has found it that you guys were reacting to so much. People make mistakes. They leave off a few words. What was it, Forrester? It was the SEC Network. They sent this out talking about 28 straight conference wins. And then everybody was like, well, conference championship game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a conference win. They left off the word regular season. And if you build graphics when you add details, it does make the graphic a little cluttered.
It got community noted, by the way. A lot of people were in there like, that ain't right.
Yeah. So that's the misspeak there. They get a chance to come to Alabama and try to make it 29 straight regular season wins. That is a couple of weeks away. Both of them will go in unbeaten in that contest, and we'll be watching a big injury on both sides. Rousseau from Alabama, he's been playing great. He got that knee whipped around on. We'll get an update maybe from Kalen DeBoer in overtime today. He is having a news conference in this off week, according to Alabama, so we'll have that coming up at the top of the 12 o'clock hour in overtime. But also Tate Ratledge, for Georgia on their offensive line. That's one of their veteran big guys. That's a big loss for them. He was in a boot up at Kentucky.
Yeah, and again, I didn't think the offensive line before he goes out or before the injury was announced, I didn't think the offensive line looked good Saturday night.
They had 65 yards at the half. Georgia is who we're talking about. 65 yards at the half.
Yeah.
I mean, I could not believe that number.
Not 65 rushing, not 65 passing, 65
That's right,
together.
65 at the half.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was – and I do think, look, I trust Georgia. I know Georgia's going to be good. But if I'm a Georgia fan, I come out of this one like I know they always play us close, but I can't – to Lance's point, I can't remember Georgia looking so out of whack against them as they did Saturday night.
Lamb, I believer, says Rousseau high ankle sprain, and if that ends up being what it is, long term, that is a blessing because those are scary things when you're especially on a turf field, and that cleat is caught and people are rolling into you. That can be very dangerous.
Could be the old tightrope. That's what they use to fix that sometimes if it's that bad.
We'll see what happens there. Okay, 4 downs in just a second, but we need to talk about the state of Florida, and we'll do that after I tell you about a couple of folks. Milo's, they've got a great event that's happening right now in September where they're trying to fill up a food gap in our state.
Yeah, did you know that 545,000 Alabama children will miss meals this past summer? Milo's Hamburgers, they've joined the fight against hunger. They're inviting you to do the same. All Milo's restaurants will serve as drop locations for food supplies for the food bank Central Alabama from September 4th to September 20th. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, you get a free regular drink from our friends at Milo's. Together we can make a difference. Stop into one of those convenient Milo's locations for lunch or dinner.
And you can go see America in an RV from Johnston RV Center. Fall air about to be here. Going to cool off a little bit over the weekend. We'll start getting some fall air in the Deep South, and you can enjoy it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find them, and always at johnstonrvcenter.com. And to get you ready for fall, they got some great discounts right now. How about travel trailers as low as $145 a month? How about fifth wheels? Savings over $45,000. RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got that lifetime warranty on anything new or qualifying previously owned at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
AU, Clay says, I'm trying to fast. Stop showing me those Milo burgers on the screen there. We talked earlier in the show about Hank Brown's performance and now being QB1 at Auburn. Peyton Thorne is on the show tomorrow at 9:30 Central Time. We look forward to talking to Peyton on the transition and what's ahead for him and his mindset of this Auburn team as they get into SEC play this week. And also, we talked to Tyler Booker earlier today and about the performance at Wisconsin. All of those are always podcasted for you where you get our podcasts, including Apple and Spotify, and, of course, on YouTube where you need to like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. That helps us tremendously. If you're watching right now, you haven't given us a thumbs up today, just look at the bottom of the screen and do that for us. All right, Rockstar, let's go first to Tallahassee. I need cut number 8 first. You know you're having a bad year where since your school sued the ACC for basically saying we're too good for you, you're now 0-4, 0-3 on the year. Brown will tell you in a second about how 0-6 becomes a possibility. But
how does this happen at this time?
I don't know.
Yeah, listen to Mike Norvell in his news conference. And a lot of people are saying, man, when your seat's so hot, you're setting off. When your seat's so hot, you're setting off the alarm. That's not a good sign.
I tell it to teams all the time. Momentum takes one play. I mean, that's it. That's all it takes to change it. And we just, obviously have had some opportunities that that we needed to respond in those situations. But I mean, I think from their attitude, their approach. I mean, even there in the locker room, we're all disappointed. As we continue to work and continue to pour into each other and the opportunity we have.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Incredible. I've never seen that in my life. Now, he's not on the hot seat because he's got about an $80 million blanket he sleeps on.
Yeah, I got multiple texts. Hey, what is his buyout? Too much.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
It's Jimbo Fisher-esque.
Yeah, for a school that, by the way, needs money. I mean, like they're talking about suing and having to pay buyouts and all that stuff.
I really can't remember the last time a team has been a touchdown or more favorite in 3 consecutive games and lost the game outright. Like, I really can't remember that. Double-digit favorites against Georgia Tech, lost. Double-digit favorites at home against BC, lost. Went off as a 6-point favorite at home against Memphis, lost. They can't run the football. They've got bad quarterback play. The transfer skill they brought in is not even close to what you had with Benson and Coleman and guys, like Johnny Wilson last year. It's a different roster.
They became the first team in the Associated Press poll era. So when I say first team in Associated Press poll era,
it goes way back.
We're talking about a lot of history of college football. The first team in the Associated Press poll era to start in the top 10, start 0-3 with all 3 losses coming down to ranked teams. It has never happened in college football, what you're seeing with Florida State.
Yeah, just a handful of teams in the top 10 have started 0-3.
Yeah.
But to do it all against unranked teams is crazy. And, by the way, in Tallahassee, back home this weekend, 6 o'clock on ESPN2, here comes a team that's already gone from the West Coast to the Southland and beat the Auburn Tigers. Here comes Cal.
It's by far the most physical team they've played. I'm not saying it's the best team, but right now Florida State's -3 in turnovers. They've given up 8 sacks. Again, they're averaging 2.2 per carry. This seems like, I cannot believe I'm saying it seems like here's free money.
What's the point spread?
It's Florida State 2.5.
Florida State's favored?
Florida State's favored, but you actually have to kind of make them the favorite. Like, I know that sounds weird.
Yeah, because they're not the better team. Well, they're not the better team, that's for sure.
I just think to maybe balance the money, although I think more money will be on California here.
I mean,
I think Cal is that good. I had them, was the only night play we had against San Diego State. Look, San Diego State's going through a transition. But Cal, man, they are a brick wall. Then Mendoza obviously can make plays, and Jay Knotts hadn't even played yet.
I know. It takes a lot to override the number of people that pick Alabama and Auburn in our pick 3, our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Cal may break the bank, though. I mean, this may be a good time to go Florida State.
And Cal.
Tennessee and
Cal.
Cal.
I want to tell you, here's your play.
This is our pick 3 this week?
and we don't get it as obviously we don't get the vocal element this year. Remember we used to, I would guess
when
the
we
teams.
Do the vocal,
Cal, Tennessee, and...
See, I like Oklahoma. Not to win. But keep it close.
I don't think you're going to see that, though.
I like them to keep it close, yes.
I've never woke up on a Saturday thinking Alabama's going to lose.
I did not say.
Check with me on the 3rd Saturday of October.
Yeah, I did not say Tennessee's going to lose, but Oklahoma.
I will take a flyer. It's either going to be USC against Michigan or Kansas State at BYU.
So Cal.
Or Arizona State at Texas Tech. That'll be a popular.
The team that has scored the most on Cal is still Auburn at 14. Justin Wilcox's defense played very well. This is a bad matchup for Florida State. The way DJU is playing, the guy has got he's got less confidence. I honestly believe this. He's got less confidence in that Cal game than what Peyton Thorne had. This guy is a mess mentally if you watch him play, and it's unfortunate. I hate it for the kid, but that's what he is right now. I don't know how they beat Cal. Then they're at SMU, which has been a disappointing team, but as Brandon pointed out on the middle 8, Brandon Marcello, that is their ACC home opener.
Yeah, like that's buzzing.
It's going to be buzzing. It's going to be a big deal for them, and they're good enough to beat Florida State. Then they host Clemson. I, honest to goodness, think an 0-6 start is by no means off the table.
Yeah, and look, and I think Jay Knott, he had the ankle injury in game 1 against Cal Davis, didn't play against Auburn, did play last week against San Diego State. I think Wilcox knew we can beat the Aztecs without him. I think he's going to be back for this Florida State game.
Oh, that is bad news for Florida State. I don't know if they can avoid an 0-6. To go from should have been in the playoff, if they don't get Jordan Travis injured, they're in the playoff, to an 0-6 start. So people are going to start talking about Norvell Dunaway. Is this and I love Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik, the man, is such a good man. Really love coach. But they're going to start talking about, is it like Gene Chizik, where he's an otherwise average coach with a generational quarterback?
Well, that's what you got with it. And I don't even want to call him a generational quarterback.
Who, Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's
Jameis Winston was. I think you had more of that situation.
Jordan Travis was really good.
Yeah, with Jimbo Fisher when they won a national championship in 2013. But you have seen the difference in quarterback play once they lost Travis.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger problem in Gainesville, much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we're going now. Rockstar, if you'll cue up cut number 9, we'll swing over to Gainesville, where we'll tell you that our friends at Odie's Neighborhood Bar and Grill, and whatever the Odie's version in Gainesville is, LT, they'll people sitting around now going, not if, but when, and why wasn't it yesterday?
Yeah, 2 great locations. The original in Crestline. We do Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday there. The newest location in Edgewood. Stop in, live music on the weekends, great food for lunch and dinner every single day from Rodney Davis, from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, now in Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Okay, so... there was reports by several people that Sunday there was going to be a trustees meeting. I didn't see where the trustees actually got together to meet. They may have had a private call, but any trustees meetings, they have to be publicly announced, and you have to have at least partial of it called to order in public. So that didn't happen yesterday in Tallahassee. But Billy Napier started Graham Mertz, put in everybody's favorite quarterback who looked bad, went back to Graham Mertz.
We were wrong, by the way.
I don't know.
No, Lance, we were wrong. The kid,
he did not look good at all.
2 turnovers, couldn't complete half his passes.
And it was just a beatdown in that game, 41-17, I think it was. It was a beat down.
33-20.
33-20. Yeah,
20-0 at halftime.
But it was 33-7 at one point until Florida rallied with Mertz back in the game. Billy Napier trying to explain things away and things not looking good for the coach.
Billy getting booed is part of the job, but that was pretty loud and pretty intense at the end of the first half. And again, leaving the field, what's that feel like for you? And do you think you deserved a chance to get this thing turned around?
Well, I don't blame. I have no excuse, and I have no negative comment about that. I mean, ultimately, when you play a certain way in this arena, you're going to be criticized, right? So this is one of those places where there's history and tradition and expectations. There's been a lot of really good football teams that played in that stadium in the past. When you play ugly ball, and maybe it doesn't look quite like we all want it to, then hey, it comes with the territory. So, I probably would have done the same thing, truth be known.
Yeah, when you get gashed, I mean, the Aggies went 3-10 on the ground. They held Florida in their own building to 52 yards. Here would be closing arguments if you want to get rid of him, and I've heard that they do have the money.
Well, it's only $12.5 million is what you had to pay first, 50% of what you owe him, and then it's installment payments for 4 years. That's doable for an SEC school.
It is. I don't know what you really get by getting rid of him this early in year 3. But if you do, this is all you got to say. Not only is he 6-11 against SEC coaches, which is an absolute joke for Florida, but Billy Napier in 2+ short years has already lost 6 home games. Steve Spurrier, his entire career at Florida, 68-5 at home, less losses.
Wow.
Urban Meyer, 35-5 at home, less losses.
Wow.
So you think about those 10 years, less losses in the swamp than you've already got from Billy Napier. I mean, it's been a disaster.
Somehow they actually have a winnable game Saturday because Mississippi State is playing terrible right now.
Yeah, if you missed that, folks,
wow,
Toledo.
I don't know how.
Toledo, which should have been my pick on the upset alert, if it was enough points. Toledo 41-17 in an SEC stadium.
Yeah, it made no sense there. So they got a winnable game there, but that is it for winnable games. Well, I shouldn't say that's it for winnable games. They play Central Florida, which is certainly a winnable game, but I'm not so certain UCF's not the better team right now.
Gus is 3-0 with a win at TCU 35-34 and a comeback.
That was a comeback.
Yeah, outscored TCU 22-3 to win the game.
But we've talked about this schedule all year: at Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at Florida. Florida State's the most winnable game they got left. Well, that's it. I don't. If you don't fire him, he's just going to keep losing games. I mean, I don't know, but if you do fire him, they're going to keep losing games.
Yeah, and
it's not going to turn it around.
Who's that guy?
Everyone's going to say Lane Kiffin, but a lot of people are writing stories now that Lane Kiffin would be stupid to leave Ole Miss for Florida. I don't know how you feel about that.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would agree. I think you stay at Ole Miss.
I need to know how good Ole Miss's collective is. Seems like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that would be my question right there is, does Lane get everything he wants out of that collective? Like, if he can find another Jackson Dart,
yeah,
will they go pay for
it?
Look,
Lane has not done great in high-profile jobs. And, look, I think he's a better coach now than obviously he's learned a lot on the job. But you, again, can do things special in Oxford that haven't been done since the early 60s. I mean, at Florida, rinse and repeat. I mean, you're supposed to do what Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier did.
This would be if they fire Billy, which it looks like they would, and if they hire their new coach, which they have to by law, I guess you have to have a head coach, it would be the 5th head coach they've had since Urban Meyer in 2010.
Yeah.
That's a lot of turnover.
And Nick over in the mybookie.ag chat is saying Florida's still a great job. I agree. But I'm just saying, like, the majority of SEC jobs are great jobs now. Like Ole Miss has become a great job.
I think a lot of people are starting to ask, though, what's wrong at Florida? I mean, it looks like a great job. The recruiting's there, but it seems to be something structurally wrong on the inside.
Because I will still stick with it. He's not the most likable guy, but I think Dan Mullen's a good coach.
Yeah.
Like, what would Mississippi State do to have Dan Mullen back right now?
Well, after Saturday night, they would take him, Joe Moorhead. If Mike Leach was still alive, him, I mean, everybody that they've had after Saturday night. But yes, to answer your question, they'd like to have that back, I think.
I think Florida fans take him back.
I don't know if Florida is, I don't, they had the NIL situation with Jaden Rashad, and that was messy. I don't know if, that's hurting them in recruiting or teams using that against them. I don't know the answer to all that. But to me, that's what I've got to look at now. Like, if I've got a good enough NIL, I can do everything at Ole Miss that I could at Florida. if I'm Lane Kiffin.
The flip side of that game was Texas A&M may have found their quarterback for the future.
Could have injured their way into a better quarterback situation. Like, I like what I saw to Reed. He didn't blow it up passing, but he added 83 rush yards, which you will not get out of Connor Wigman.
Different dynamic from Marcel Reed. I thought he was good. And this is one of those teams that if they would have gotten by Notre Dame and they didn't, they're going to get better and better each and every week.
And Brandon said it on the middle eight. If they start Reed, this is hindsight, start Reed against Notre Dame, maybe they win that game. They could be 3-0 with him. I mean, Wigman may have just been the wrong choice for Mike Elko.
A&M sneaks into the top 25 this week in the AP poll at number 25. They get Bowling Green this week. We get 4 Downs, brought to you by the great folks at Slice with their 5 wonderful locations.
Yeah, 5 great locations, as Dunaway said. The original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. The newest location in Edgewood. Stop and see the Bajaya Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. Get a slice and a salad today. From the hot mama to the Bajaya special, you're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
What undefeated LA team falls faster and has little or no shot at the postseason? The LA Chargers or the USC Trojans?
I don't think either falls, LT. I think both of them make the postseason. Can I have that as my answer?
Oh, you can, sure.
Yeah. I think USC goes in and what do you call it? Dip whip? I think they beat Michigan.
Dick whip.
Yeah.
Is that French onion dip? Is that what you use?
I think they go into Ann Arbor and put it on them on 2:30 CBS this weekend.
Boy, that would be a statement from USC.
Yeah.
You know, I read the number wrong. I saw yesterday, I was like, what? Michigan's favored over USC? There's no chance.
Give me all I could get.
But I thought USC would be a little less of a favorite. I thought they'd be like 3. I mean, for that thing to be 6.5, that's a big number.
Still a pretty good defense for Michigan, but this will be an entertaining football game. I'm looking forward to that one this weekend. I'm going to stick with neither. I think Harbaugh has got a culture there. Herbert's a little banged up, but I think they win some football games. I think both make the postseason.
As a USC fan, stop me at the game that concerns you moving forward. At Michigan Saturday, Wisconsin at home, at Minnesota, Penn State at home.
Penn State.
I
know.
At Maryland, Rutgers, at Washington, bye week, Nebraska at home, at UCLA, Notre Dame at home.
Yeah,
Dunaway, you put them in the playoff. Them missing the playoff at this point.
If I asked you better chance of USC going 9-3 or 12-0,
12-0 is the much better chance. Much better
but
chance. But
everything, like the perception changes, they lose this weekend.
You're right. Absolutely.
They do have the landmine on their back because I put them in the playoffs. So at some point, something's got to happen.
Yeah, but you've got to get a playoff team, right? That's impossible.
You got to get one right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Second down.
Okay, so which 2-0 team, either the Bucks, your Bucks, or the Saints, has a better chance of still going sub 500 and missing the postseason?
Oh, it's got to be the Buccaneers.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know what the Saints.
Do you trust? Who do you trust more, Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield?
I trust Baker Mayfield more.
Okay, I do too.
Baker's playing well.
They're close.
I think I trust Baker more.
There's more intangibles when it comes to Baker.
I know this sounds weird, and I know they play tonight, and I'm not playing a game here. I still believe the Falcons win that division. I really do.
Yeah.
This is a big game. Falcons-Eagles tonight for Kirk Cousins. Because if Kirk Cousins comes out, the Eagles defense can give up some big plays. If he comes out and he looks as rusty as he did against Pittsburgh, look, Pittsburgh's defense looked really good the first 2 weeks.
They have to. They got no offense.
And I don't expect anybody to pay attention to the Buccaneers, but post-Tom Brady, we had a salary cap issue. And they have amazingly gotten younger while staying competitive. They won the division, 4 straight years? And it's a bad division, but they still won it 4 straight years and gotten young. And Bucky Irving's is a steal. They got some young receivers that are coming along, young defensive linemen, young offensive linemen. They've done a great job in the front office, and they stumbled into Baker Mayfield. I love this team culture, but and I think they outlast the Saints. In the long run, I still think the Falcons win. So to your question, I'll say Saints is the one that stumbles below 500.
I think I will too. Yeah, I know Derek Carr has been incredible, but I can't trust him.
Yeah, I think Saints end up 8-9, and I think the Bucs end up 9-8, and Falcons end up 10 and something and win the thing.
Third down.
Which 0-2 still has a chance to have a really, really good, solid season? The Bengals or the Rams?
I'm not going to panic on the Bengals here. They start slow every year. Now, they started slow last year and missed the playoffs, but I'm not going to panic on them. I'll go Bengals over Rams.
Rams are
Y'all
beat
too
up.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Puka, Cup leaves yesterday.
It's really sad, man. I don't know if we're ever going to see those guys healthy on the field at the same time.
Secondary is a concern.
Secondary is a concern. I'm really the pass rush I think is pretty good. Inside linebackers a little bit of concern. Rams can't run the football right now. I agree with you guys. I think it's the Bengals. If I'm Burrow, I go on and I'm seeing my stylist and I'm getting that thing washed out.
Yeah, boy, that's a rough look.
Me too. And at some point, I have to crank up Jamar Chase.
That's right.
And that hasn't happened yet.
Well, Jamar Chase.
That penalty was.
It was one of the dumbest things that you will see.
And he won't talk about it. He won't say why he did it. Nobody will talk about it.
Yep.
4th down.
Florida, 45. Amy Poehler, 53. Ultimately better career, Florida or Amy Poehler. Now, look, I know Poehler's done a lot more stuff. Very creative, probably the more talented. But Florida kicks out a couple of like Low and My House or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money is he printing on that?
A ton. I think I'm going to go Florida on this one.
I'm going to go Amy Poehler.
Okay.
She hits my wheelhouse. She's funny. I like her.
She hits your wheelhouse. She's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, is she
a Steffi Graf for you?
No, not. But she's a funny lady.
I had better looking librarians than Amy Poehler, but she is funny.
Yeah, she's the one that was not The Office, but the other one about being a
Parks and Rec.
Love that.
Never saw it still.
Love that. That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Get a slice and a salad. Pick up some pies on the way home. Created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers, Jason and Chris, continue to celebrate his legacy. SliceBirmingham.com. By the way, season 2 of Tulsa King. Yeah, so me and Jack watched first episode.
Starting to lose it.
Well, it got steam at the very end, but a lot of cheese. For them to take this much time in between season 1 and season 2 and to have to fill holes with some of the things that were in that episode 1 I didn't like.
That's the only thing about Sheridan. After a great season 1 and things, his season 2s continue maybe to cheese it up a bit. NASCAR fast to break because we got Joel Klatt on the other side. World's fastest speedway is Talladega. Visit TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Call 877-GO-TO-DEGA to get your tickets. Stay connected at Talladega on all the social media platforms at Talladega, and enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Ray. 3 races, a rodeo, a concert, and all playoff races October 4th through the 6th. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com for the Yellowwood 500 weekend.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Ray. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Raid, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
All you have to know about the Big Noon kickoff is the camera work. The announcers are okay, but the camera work they get in this broadcast. There was one inside the helmet view of Jalen Milroe smiling as they were going to break, a little slow-mo replay for those in the business. That camera shot said it all about the day for Milroe. Just lighting up the screen on my big screen. You don't get that camera shot on Remy games or student run games or anything like that. That was a real crew camera shot right there. And the announcers were good too.
I like the announcers. Joel Klatt is with us. He saw Alabama, Wisconsin. He with us each week, courtesy of mybookie.ag. What is up, Klatt? Oh, no, wait a minute. Hang on. We're not getting Klatt. What's going on? Hang on.
Maybe on our
Could be on us. No, it's
nope,
not on
us.
Oh, God.
Say something, Klatt.
Oh, no. No, I was so looking forward to this segment. We can't hear a thing.
Oh, we can figure this out.
We got to work our way through this.
Oh, no.
Smoke signals, Klatt. Smoke signals. I don't know why we can't hear.
He can hear us.
He can hear us.
Oh,
I see his meters moving.
His meters moving.
Yeah, I know, Klatt. I know. You want to... Rockstar, you want to send him a new link? Just start it. We're going to start over, Klatt. Let's start from scratch. Oh, what a compliment you paid to him.
I did. Well, actually, I didn't to his crew.
Boy, I tell you what, the Big Ten's got to give them better games. They're freaking going to have Marshall at Ohio State. How do you have better?
That's the problem. That's the problem when you choose sides.
Yeah, but the big problem is like CBS has come in and they're the ones that are going to have Michigan USC. So like they took that pick.
Yeah. I mean, it's Marshall, Ohio State this week.
Yeah.
So did you guys have Kentucky and Georgia in 4K? The reason I ask on YouTube TV, every time it would go to break, they just had an end zone shot with the cheerleaders cheering.
Yeah.
There were no commercials.
I had another game this weekend that was that way too.
I like the 4K.
Oh, yeah. 4K football looks really, really good.
It's unbelievable.
Now we're already promoting 8K. Not good enough there.
Just forget 4K. Let's move on to 8K.
8K, you can actually see if they have any internal injuries.
Would have been great for Quinn Ewers.
While we wait on Joel Klatt to come back, tell us about our friends at Lanyas Furniture. Lanyas Furniture, great deals always. I mean, this is a tradition. Jump around was a tradition, and Alabama enjoyed it this past weekend. Lanyas has been a tradition for Alabama and Auburn fans for years.
Yeah, look, you're building out that man cave right now. You need that one piece. Maybe it's the Lazy Boy Flex Steel recliner. Maybe it's a sectional. Go in there, specifically ask Reggie, John, the fine folks at Lanya's Furniture about these pieces. They can get you hooked up. That's the great thing about Lanya's Furniture. It's all about inventory. It's all about great pricing, and that's what they've got. They believe at Lanya's in getting more style for less. Lanya's offers great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, and a slew of mattresses from Birmingham. Take exit 280 off I-65. Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lanya's going to be right there on your right. Make sure you tell the fine folks there the next round sent you.
All right. Everybody cross your fingers. Let's try Joel Klatt again. No! What's going on?
I don't know.
What's going on?
You know, that's one of the things. I have subtitles on at all time now. Not for sporting events.
What are we gonna do?
But pretty much for shows. If we could just subtitle him.
Can we do old school phoner?
No, we're not going to do a poverty segment.
Well, we know how good he looks. We can do a poverty segment.
I don't want to.
Wait.
What?
We did this in hurricane coverage one day in my local TV.
What?
Can Joel call us on the phone?
No, that's going to be way off. His voice isn't going to match.
It may be closer than you think.
We're wasting valuable time. He's probably got 11 interviews lined up right now.
No, we know your mic's working, Joel. You're a professional.
Yeah, this is so disappointing.
Yeah.
Hey,
just a thumbs up. Does Galen Milroe, is he a pretty good quarterback?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy watching it?
That's two thumbs up on that one.
What did you like with 36 seconds left in the half that instead of taking a knee, they were aggressive?
Attack.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
If we're playing charades, we know the two best teams in the SEC, third best team in the SEC right now. There's probably three directions you could go.
You would say that.
There you go. Oh, it's a T.
Tennessee.
Okay.
UT. Yeah.
So neutral site, Alabama, Tennessee. Who wins the game?
Oh, glad. Wow.
Neutral site, Ole Miss, Alabama. Who wins the game? Okay.
Alabama.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So then we've got Ole Miss as number 5. Is Texas better than Georgia right now? I think everybody thinks that.
I don't.
Well, let me ask you this: if the abdominal strain was worse, if the oblique was worse, can they win games against the competition they're going to? Okay. Yeah. So Arch is that good?
He's buzzing in really quickly.
Yeah, wow. We're asking dumb questions.
In your prime, could you outrun Arch Manning 67 yards? No. That surprised me. I guess the nameplate surprised me that he had that speed. Wow.
Yeah.
How important is elite quarterback play for Texas right now? No, I know it's elite, but let me ask you this, and this is not taking a shot at you. Look, I mean, you quarterbacked in a Big 12 championship game. You never had an offensive line like this. Like if they had 21-year-old Joel Klatt, is Texas good enough to win a championship? No. Okay.
It's just not a
He's
shot
too
at
humble. Too humble.
Shot at Klatt, yeah. You're too humble.
Is USC going to dominate? Okay. Is
USC? Hold on. You guys got me on my phone.
Yes. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, we got you on phone.
There we go.
There we go. How's this?
Good.
Oh, it's
we
better.
can hear you. We can hear you. That's what's important. I love the set. I'm sorry, Joel, but we got you. Is that
I don't know what's going on there. Okay, now we got it. I love the yes or no questions, like the thumbs up, thumbs down. That was fun. I think part of what makes Texas really great is their quarterback play and their elite quarterback play. That's obviously, I think that's pretty much standard across the board in terms of all these teams. That's what makes Alabama so good. I think Jalen's really, really good, guys. Now, there's some things that he could work on, I think. The intermediate pass game, obviously, I think he could get better at, but they haven't had to use any of that because of the explosive nature of their offense. I'm going to do a big film session this week and release it on YouTube about the ways that they take advantage of the defense, isolate their athletes. I think that they are the most explosive offense in college football. I don't know if that makes them the best offense, but they're certainly the most explosive. To this point, they've got more 25 or more yard touchdowns than anybody in the country. I believe it's 11. So, they're going to be able to score, I think, on anybody, quite honestly. My question for their offense would be whether they can drive 10, 11, 12 plays and sustain drives, because we've seen them struggle with penalties, not last week, but certainly against South Florida. But my questions for Alabama are not on the offensive side.
Yeah, but the methodical drive, that seems like that would be more difficult to do consistently against good SEC defenses. Like, there's nothing, if you've got explosive play potential with great athletes, it doesn't matter if you're an elite defense, you're going to be susceptible to giving up those kind of plays, right?
Totally. Listen, I totally agree with you. I think I'm nitpicking on saying, like, we just haven't seen them sustain drives, but you're exactly right. This team is going to be able to score, I think, on anybody, and even in the SEC. If you were asking me though, like when I flashed the T for Tennessee, here's what I get concerned about for Alabama. And remember now, this concern is only in light of who you have to compare them to, right? The standard for Alabama is not just like, oh man, they look really good. It's like, hey, can this beat everybody? That's the standard. So with that being the standard, I am concerned about their defense a little bit, because while they haven't given up the points, they have shown some weaknesses, both in structure and in personnel. The structure, the perimeter run game for really South Florida and even Wisconsin was there. And South Florida exploited that. Wisconsin started to a little bit, but fumbled on a couple of those runs. And so that's opportunistic for Bama's defense. And then now we've seen 2 weeks in a row wide receivers running behind the secondary, and they're open. They just haven't been hit. Nico's going to hit that ball. Beck's going to hit that ball. Brady Cook's going to hit that ball. So I left the game thinking very highly of Alabama. And I thought to myself, they're going to be in multiple shootouts this year. I think that they're going to have to, if they're going to go through this schedule, they're going to be in at least 2, maybe 3 games that both teams are scoring in the 40s. I'm pretty confident in that.
Do you think some of that is just scheme, the change of scheme, or some of that is young, inexperienced, or portal guys in the secondary, and it's something they can work on?
I think it's both. I think that the perimeter run issues are structural, and I think that the cohesive nature of the secondary, or lack thereof to this point, because you got not only the young guys, you've got 2 transfers, right? So everybody's new. At times when Red Morgan is in the game and he's covering the slot, you've got 4 of 5 guys in the secondary and the nickel that are new. Now 3 of them are experienced and 2 are young, but they're new playing together. Hopefully Malachi's, injury was just precautionary. He looked to be dinged up on that play inside the 5, did not come back after that one. So that's a personnel deal which I think will get better as they develop a more cohesive nature together in the secondary. That should get better. The structural issues, I think, are more profound, because you're not going to change the structure of your defense mid-year. When they play their base 3-3-5, I think that they are really susceptible to perimeter run. When they have that, what do they call it? What do they call that position? And by the way,
the wolf position. Yeah, that's where Russo got hurt. Yeah,
when they get into that odd front and they play with like 5 techniques, but they're not wide 5 techniques. And then they've got the Wolf, Quay, and hopefully he's okay, or Q, and they bring him right up into the A gap. And then they've got 2 off the ball linebackers, and then they just play a structure of coverage behind that. They are really susceptible to the zone read, to the outside run, to the stretch run, to the quarterback run. So that'll continue. You guys, mark my words, and you can come back to this conversation as we go on. Somebody's going to hurt them badly in the run game out of that structure. When they get into their 4-down territory, or at least 4 guys at the line of scrimmage, and even if they're standing guys up on the outside, that's a harder edge, and it's more difficult to get onto the perimeter. Now, why I like that structure better for them is that the weakness of that structure, which would be basically like being in nickel out of an odd front, you take a defensive lineman out and you're playing with 2 tackles and then 2 kind of stand-up guys. Most of the time, defenses are susceptible right down the middle, and so you can run right down the middle. But I thought Tim Smith, Tim Keenan, these guys up front, they were big enough to hold the run wall out of that structure, and then you have harder edges, which cuts down on the perimeter run. That's the structure I like better for them. But, we'll see how that goes. But come back, revisit this at some point, guys, because I'm telling you, someone's going to really hurt them on the edge.
Joel Klatt, Fox Sports, Big Noon Kick. He is with us courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round. They will double that initial deposit. That's your bonus with next round right now. Play Monday Night Football, Week 4 of college football, mybookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, code next round. I texted Klatt after the game. I was like, can you imagine that there's some kid that was supposed to play Saraland this week and cover Ryan Williams, and he's a high schooler? What makes him so good? We know he's good. You watched him with your own two eyes in the game. What makes him so good right now?
He's got good instincts, first of all. So, he just kind of understands space and structure. He doesn't – a lot of times young guys play too fast. And I know that's, everyone thinks the speed of the game is so much different. So you got to learn how to play fast. Actually, it's different than that. You have to understand how to harness your speed. I think that's the most difficult part for a young wide receiver who's really talented, because there's so many routes that take nuance, and you've got to settle into zone structures. You've got to pause and hesitate during some of the route concepts in order to create the spacing necessary for the quarterback to affect the defense. All of those things are really instinctual, and he does that. And so for a 17-year-old, it's really impressive. Then you get into this idea of he's got really solid body control, so he's athletic. He catches the ball incredibly well. In fact, he's not a body catcher, which a lot of young guys are. And then he tracks it well. There's a different, guys, we see speed all the time. And the greatest neutralizer to speed at the wide receiver position is a lack of ability to track the ball in the air. I think that you guys understand like that. Like a great center fielder, it's not just about being fast. It's about being fast when the ball's in the air. Can you run really fast while tracking the ball? He does that. And evidence of that touchdown right at the end of the first quarter. He just runs right by and the corner, by the way, switched off on that. I didn't get a chance to talk about it during the game, but the corner was covering outside. There was a tight end outside or a running back outside. They were in an empty formation, and then the corner switched to be like, hey, Ryan's in the slot. Really good set. Think about it. Empty formation. Rather than putting him on the outside into the two receiver side, the short side of the field, which would invite a corner, which would also invite the boundary, they put him in the slot. The free safety and a middle safety look has got to work towards the wide side, because those are where the three receiver side is, which promotes a slot one-on-one with Ryan Williams. Really great set from Kalen DeBoer. Good play call and an excellent ball from Jalen Milroe.
One of the questions, or multiple questions going into the season for Alabama fans, elite receiver, do they have one of those? I think it's been answered. I think Ryan Williams is that guy. Elite edge guy, though. Is LT Overton possibly that guy for Alabama?
It's hard because it's he's 285, and in one respect, you're like, okay, good. He's back to his natural weight, or at least the weight that he suggests is natural, and he's got ability. And there were some times yesterday when I was like, okay, this is that guy. And I think I brought this up. Did I bring it up in the broadcast? I thought that hey, a question for me is, can they develop an edge pass rusher? And then Overton got 2 or 3 pressures almost in a row right after that. I would hope for them that he is that guy. That would help them out tremendously. It's not the traditional kind of stand-up outside edge player that Bama has had in the past. But out of this structure of defense, let's just put it this way. I think he needs to be that guy. He needs to be the guy that we saw on Saturday that at times kind of took over the pass rush and rendered Wisconsin's ability to throw the ball down the field obsolete, because they're going to need that against Missouri. They're going to need that against Tennessee. That secondary is too young, guys, and too new together to defend Tennessee's passing game for 4 seconds. They're not going to be able to do that. Okay, so the best way to beat Tennessee or Missouri is get to the quarterback. They're going to have to do that. And I do think that LT is their best option up front.
Speaking of Tennessee at Oklahoma, everyone's going to say Josh Heupel's offense against Brent Venables' defense, and that'll be fun to watch. But you brought this up already in our silent portion of the show. Tennessee's defense is a storyline right now, and Oklahoma is not Oklahoma of yesteryear. I'm going to find a hard time for Jackson Arnold and the Sooners to score in this game.
Yeah, I don't think Arnold's even thrown for 200 yards yet this season, I believe. And this is a passing game I thought would actually flourish, because I thought what he was strong at, I think he's a strong-armed guy, wants to push the ball down the field, and then you look at their players on the outside, whether it's Andrell Anthony or Nick Anderson, Jaleel Farouk, these guys, and it's like they're downfield threats. So I thought Oklahoma would be a lot better on offense than what they are. I'm really impressed with Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to go in and beat Oklahoma, and they're going to prove what I think I already know, which is why I put them at number 4 in my top 10. I think Tennessee is a better version of the 2022 Tennessee team, because I do think they're better on defense than what that team was. And Ia Maleava is outstanding. His ability to threaten the defense with his legs is solid. And then his ability to throw the ball down the field is like really special. And Hendon Hooker proved a couple of years ago, when you've got a guy that understands how to read out that choice deep, choice passing game that they run under Heupel, when you got a guy that can do that, it's very dangerous. I think Tennessee they're my surprise team of the SEC. I didn't know what to expect out of the quarterback or this team. And that's a team that I could very easily see play for an SEC championship. I think they could wind up a top 2 seed.
Who has had a bigger downgrade at quarterback, and ultimately, where do these programs end up once we get to November and December? Florida State or Michigan?
Michigan's had the bigger downgrade, just from a talent perspective. But it's interesting you bring both of those up, because think of it this way. Like, people in Michigan are getting on Sharon, and everyone's like, how does this happen? How do you not get in the transfer portal? And at Florida State, they did. And it's like, it didn't work out, So you're seeing both sides of the sword of the transfer portal. It's not always a 100% fix. DJ ain't it for Florida State. I think based on his age, that should be kind of an experiment that is over. That season is over. They are now, listen, if you bet the under on their 9.5 season wins, you win.
That's right.
That's pretty incredible.
Cash the check.
September 16th.
Yeah.
Like, I'm headed to pay me out, pay me my money, right? Like, it has gone disastrously for Florida State. Michigan is still salvageable, only because they've won a couple of games, and you still have, at least in my estimation, a defense that can keep you in it. Now, we'll see what happens with that defense. 2 things when it comes to Michigan. Number 1 is they've got to choose a quarterback and go, and I don't think that it's probably Davis Warren, because that's played out. We've seen that. He's had that opportunity. It's probably Alex Orji, and Alabama proved early last year. It's like, hey, man, you take your lumps with a guy that you feel like needs to develop as a passer in order to get the best athletes on the field and affect the defense, and then he will develop into, at least in Milroe's case, one of the better downfield passers in all of college football. Okay, so if I was Michigan, I'd probably lean into Alex Orji, because that also leans into the philosophical direction that they need to play, which is run the football, own the time of possession, win the field position battle, don't turn it over, keep your defense off the field. And then on defense, this is my next point for Michigan. Wink Martindale comes in as their defensive coordinator. And yes, it's the same structure as the previous 2 guys. And in fact, he taught them their defense. Mike McDonald and Jesse Minter are both in the NFL now. But guys, Wink blitzes way more. They were in the middle of the pack, 48th in the country in terms of blitz rate over the last 3 years. I think it was right around 28% they blitzed. Wink has blitzed 49% so far in this season, which is 4th highest in all of college football.
Wow.
See, that's not what Michigan does, guys. They're a team that blitzes only when they need to in the 3rd quarter. I've got a lot of numbers, and I'm sure we're running low on time, to suggest that like the philosophy and style that Michigan needs to play is a philosophy where it's slowly like a boa constrictor. You squeeze and squeeze and squeeze your opponent. And then when you find the opportunity in the third quarter, you give them the final squeeze. That's when you get aggressive. And that's when you can take a multiple possession lead and then just grind out the rest of the game. They were in the last 3 years, guys, 23 one-score games in the second half.
Wow.
Think of their record now in the last 3 years. 23 of those games, they were in a one-score game in the second half. This is their model. In those 23 games, they were 21-2 because they just understood how to win those games. That's a 91% winning percentage. That's the best in the country by far. And right now, they're manipulating their structure of defense in order to create pressure, which creates bigger plays by the opposition. It creates more snaps for their defense because there's more opportunities for the opposition to move the ball and move the chains, which is exactly what we saw against Texas. Listen, I could probably talk about Michigan all day long because I've done about 37 of their games, but I'm telling you, they're outside of their blueprint right now, and it's not just a quarterback issue.
They get USC Saturday. The big new kick is Marshall, Ohio State, 11 o'clock on Fox. That's where Klatt will be, and the big house, not the big house, in the horseshoe there with Gus and Jenny. Excellent visit, Klatt. Sorry about the issues early, but I'm glad you followed through.
No, listen, we had an audible. I did like the question and answer period. That was kind of fun.
We can bring that back.
We might need to start. We should probably start every week like that. You guys could just have like 5,
right.
Throw them out.
Yeah, we'll go silent, thumbs up, thumbs down from Klatt. Very old school there.
Yeah, it could be a bit. I like it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. See you. That is Joel Klatt on Fox, and he was with us courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, including Falcons at Eagles tonight, the Battle of the Birds, where the Eagles are a 6-point favorite. You make your initial deposit there at MyBookie.ag, and they will double it right now when you use code next round. Code next round to get double that initial deposit right there at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
And also by our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day, lanceslock.com, where I'm sure you got a lean or a play tonight on Falcons-Eagles.
Yeah, 2 Major League Baseball plays up. We do have the side and the Falcons-Eagles. Jump on board, lanceslock.com. 13-7 over the weekend. So jump on board and win with us there. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys out there. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Again, hemphillservices.com. Did you guys have the same problem I had flipping nonstop Saturday?
No.
I couldn't get into a field.
Yeah. I do quad box, and then I use the back button. So if there's a game in my quad box that I like, I highlight it, I hit the button, it comes up full screen, and then I go back button, and the quad box comes back.
First world problem. Now, I go loud on the volume. I like to feel like I'm at the stadium. Quad box volume much louder than single view volume. I do not know why.
I don't know. I'll check out this weekend. I don't know if that's the case.
That's an issue for me.
Yeah, I've got one TV that is older, and it's my biggest TV. So I've got that with an antenna on it, so I keep either ABC or Fox or NBC or CBS, depending on what the big game is on that. And then I have I only work 3 TVs, but then on my quad box, I work and bring it up full, and then that's the problem sometimes when I got out until I figured the back button. I'd get out of the quad box, and then setting it back up again just took too much time.
I felt like, have you guys ever had restless leg?
Oh, I get it all the time.
Okay. It is
every
awful.
night.
I got it one night last week, and I felt like I was just moving nonstop for 2 hours. I couldn't get comfortable with my TVs. Again, first world problem, but I could not get comfortable with the TV setup.
You can find yourself in that quad box situation of not watching anything.
And I can almost find the 4 that I want. It's like I got 3 in this garbage game I don't want.
Yeah. You got to let that go. Yeah. For me, I forget who that was this week, but it was every one I ended up with, I was like, I'm going to stick that game.
See, the weird thing was some of the better games were...
No issues this weekend, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, internet issues? Good for you. Some of the better games were games I had not planned on watching. I had not planned on watching much of the Apple Cup.
All in on that one.
Yeah, it ended up being a very good game. Backyard Brawl.
Yeah.
Fantastic game.
How about Eli Holstein? Couldn't see the field in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and
301 yards passing.
And Pat
No, that's 3 straight games, 300 plus.
Pat Narduzzi says we beat West Virginia and the officials today, and he got a $5,000 fine for that one.
Can't believe West Virginia blew that game.
I can't either.
And now you've got what could have been, like if you would have told me better chance of these teams at 1-2 each or 3-0, Kansas, West Virginia, 11 o'clock ESPN2.
I would
have said 3-0.
3-0 versus 3-0. I would agree with you. The fact both those are 1-2 is shocking.
Yeah. We'll do this little fast-paced college football talk coming up in the next segment. Plus, we've got our stock report coming up, and who goes to who, all still to come on the show. That's being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made over 20 years ago, 205-969-8100, michelsonlaservision.com. Hey, when you call that number, ask for Amy Toe. The Next Round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. For more information, you can always go online. Go to michelsonlaservision.com.
And we're officially into the Champies Hour. And I left here on Friday. I decided with my wife at a silence retreat, and the kids not at home. I had 2 little puppies. All I had to do was get home and then camp out in the rainy weather. That's all I did. I went to Champies, and I got a big family meal with sides, the potato salad and the baked beans, 9 pieces of fried chicken in the bag with the family meal that I had. I got 2 orders of their wonderful wings, a pound each of the Sweet Heat and the Buffalo, and I got an order of the tamales. And I took that home, and I feasted on it for lunch and dinner on Friday, lunch, mid-lunch, and dinner on Saturday. It was great. You can go to Champies Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling will set you up for your tailgate this weekend. ChampiesChicken.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Rate. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Raid, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're going to go fast-paced with everything you saw in college football this weekend. And you can jump into the chat room as well. Best and worst of the weekend, and Brown will pick out some of those or maybe just your thoughts on the weekend. By the way, if you missed After Dark last night, some thoughts there. Monday Morning Live, Middle 8, some thoughts there. Those shows are for you. Cover Crimson with new shows up, new content up. Same for the barn, auburn.com. Go subscribe over on those sites right there and check those out. And later today still at 1 o'clock Central Time, more programming with LT and Brock Huard in Unlocked, all that happening today. We're going to roll into this hour, though, and get with our spotlight brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. It's stock up and stock down. It's always a stock up at Talladega Superspeedway. This weekend, coming up October 4th through the 6th, is fantastic. You've got the rodeo and a truck playoff race on Friday. You got an Xfinity playoff race and a Jake Owen concert on Saturday night. And then the Yellowwood 500 Cup playoff race at the world's fastest speedway. You can get your tickets right there at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Yellowwood 500 weekend, October 4th through the 6th. Let's go racing. Let's get to our stock report. Rockstar, hit it, man.
College football spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
The spotlight each day presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. You can rent from McCurry. They make it super easy. They have got locations all over the place. The state of the north half of the state of Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals. You can also find them in Huntsville, Coleman, 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. McCurryRentals.com, 256-559-1003. McCurryRentals.com, 256-559-1003. You want me to go first?
Yeah,
I'll go first. My stock up, Zion Childress. That kid for Kentucky was all over the field. What a good player he is. Saturday night against Georgia, he gave Georgia's offense fit. Zion Childress can play some football. I like that kid. My stock down is Jedd Fisch. Now, I know Lance over at lanceslock.com really liked the way this played out because he had Washington State in this game.
I did. I was baffled.
Jedd Fisch's management of the last 2 minutes was...
It was criminal.
Well, I mean, if you've got Tommy Frazier as your quarterback, you've got to run a short side of the field option. I mean, who wouldn't call that play?
Hey, have you ever seen, though, a team actually go to defensive offsides to end a game?
To end a game. I've never seen that in my life. And so if you did not see it, Apple Cup on Peacock, Colt McCoy on the call, not great. They've got 3 timeouts, and you've got 4th and goal from like the 2 or 3. I can't remember which. If you don't get it, Washington State's going to get it back and just have to run it 3 times. You'll be able to use all 3 of your timeouts.
Yeah, you're going to get the ball again.
You're going to get the ball again probably at about the 40, and you're going to have plenty of time on the clock to come down and try to win the game. For some reason, Jedd Fisch burns a timeout, which now takes all that off the table. But at least if you're going to burn a timeout, come up with an amazing play. They run an option to the boundary with Will Rogers. I mean, I can't believe that's the play they ran.
And the tight end.
And the tight end. Yeah,
I think it was Will Rogers pitching to the tight end.
I do not know how you could have called a worse play. And then, as Lance said, You got a chance to get it back with a little time left since you burned through your timeouts. You jump off sides 2 times in a row to end the game.
Yeah, they should call that play the silly special instead of the Philly special.
Oh, there you go, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jed Fish did not coach a good game at the end there.
What about you, LT?
My stock down is going to be Kansas. I said if Jalen Daniels stays healthy, that Kansas – and look, we had UNLV plus points on Friday night, so I like the outcome. But I really thought Kansas could be a sleeper to get an automatic bid winning the Big 12 this year. Now they've lost back-to-back games, really tight one-possession game on the road in Champaign against Illinois. But to be up 14-3, and it looked like the offense was going to cruise against UNLV, and then they just kind of sputtered out. They would be my stock down. I'm really surprised. It just seems like Kansas has zero momentum. I will tell you guys this, and I'm not making a joke, but watching them, and it was one of my big plays on Saturday, Indiana laying the 3.5 in the Rose Bowl. Indiana, don't be surprised if they open 10-0.
Yeah. Kirk Cignetti he was a good coach on the FCS level.
Yeah.
We all thought, why are you taking the Indiana job? That's a graveyard.
And this might be knee-jerk, but it was going to be Kirk Cignetti in Indiana as a whole. Their ability to convert on third downs on the road was amazing. Curtis Rourke is a really solid quarterback, and they're playing really good defense. I mean, look, they haven't played anybody, Florida International, Western Illinois, on the road at UCLA, but they have completely dominated. Now you guys tell me, do you feel good they beat Charlotte at home?
I do.
Yes.
Maryland at home?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's still a losable game.
Yeah.
At Northwestern, you feel like they'll be favored. Nebraska's at home.
No, that's their loss. Yeah. They'll
I got them at 5-2 now, but
hey, 5-2.
Washington at home, at Michigan State, Michigan at home.
That's a manageable schedule.
There's no spot they will be more than a 4 or 5 point dog. They're going to be favored, if not most of those games.
Yeah.
So if they're 10-0, don't be surprised.
Yeah, and he has the great news conference line. I win. Just Google me. And I remember he was the Google me guy.
Is he the one that said that?
When he went to Indiana.
He did win at James Madison. I'll give him that.
Okay, here's my spotlight today. Stock up. He doesn't have any of these yet, but I went Hype L. Man, Josh Heupel in Tennessee is Hype City right now. Everybody's on Tennessee Volunteers, so Hype L. And then down here at the bottom, it's Hell State. You spell it this way right now. This Mississippi State thing is a train wreck. They lose to Toledo. Last time a MAC team beat an SEC team this bad, 1971, 35-6. I think it was Toledo that did it then too. Jason Candle still there. Can you believe that?
That is hard to believe. He's been a sneaky coaching candidate. But that game was 35-7 at one point.
Oh wow! What a shot here!
I mean, it just means more. But they brought the skull and crossbones.
Okay, Dunaway, if you want to get them back for pissing on your conference.
Well, no, it's more pissing on Mike Leach.
Yeah, that's a shot at Mike Leach. That feels kind of out of bounds there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just means more as a shot at the SEC.
Oh, it's definitely that. Everybody's using that now when they win, but man.
With all this said, they're only a 1.5 point favorite at Western Kentucky. And the Hilltoppers, I know they got destroyed by Alabama, really bounced back in a big way this week. Hilltoppers plus a 1.5.
This is like we're on game day there. He said that Hilltoppers plus 1.5.
Now, they're a lot of things going on the mybookie.ag chat room. RTD4, did they onside kick it up 30? Is that what he's talking about?
No, Tennessee did that.
Oh, Tennessee. Yeah. I see. We talk so many games. I don't know which one they're talking about.
Yeah, no, Tennessee up 30
in the
against
first
Kent
quarter.
State in the first half. Onside kicked it.
Well, it was 37-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, see, and the thing I don't like about that, if you're Heupel and you have all this pent-up aggression and hate towards the situation in Norman, and this has been festering for a while, do that against Oklahoma.
Well, don't be surprised if that schemed onside kick sets up something else, like a different looking onside kick.
That or you've eaten up some of Oklahoma's time this week now, really making sure they're ready for that.
And here's the thing. Everybody is going to be on Tennessee minus 7.5. I just don't know how you play Oklahoma.
I'm going to. Yeah. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Tennessee's going to win. Oklahoma's the play.
That's our McCurry rental spotlight of the day.
It is. You can rent from McCurry. They make it super easy, in and out quick. All the trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans you depend on. Start at McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com.
All right, so let's go a little fast pace in some of the games. Let's circle back. For those that were not with us in the first hour, go back and get big conversations on Hank Brown and on Jalen Milroe, plus Joel Klatt and Tyler Booker already on the show. Let's go Missouri. Okay. We haven't talked a lot about Missouri here against Boston College. One of two ranked games here. Are you impressed with Nate Noel, the running back they got from App State?
They had to figure out what they were going to do with no Cody Schrader. So, yeah, Nate Noel has been solid, 121 yards this past weekend against BC. BC is better than advertised. I will say the way they played, then when Missouri took the lead back, Missouri got up 10. It looked like Missouri might have a shot at covering the backdoor cover there. BC, it just didn't really faze them. We did have a Luther Burden sighting. Brady Cook's going to be really good. I don't know. I think Missouri's good. I think they're good. Are they in the pecking order of the SEC? Again, the problem for Missouri is there's so many good teams in the SEC.
Right.
They're probably 6th. I think they're better than LSU.
Yeah, they're 7th. They're 7th in the country right now, but they have 5 other SEC teams ahead of them and Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the neighborhood you're playing in, right?
Yeah, I mean it's the conference you're in. As Lance said, in any other conference, Missouri might be a top 3 or 4 team. I just don't know that they are.
What I got out of that game was, look, they did find a way to win and survive. Do I think they're going to be elite in the SEC this year? I don't. But I will say in year 1, Bill O'Brien has got a pretty fun product to watch in BC.
Now, they did limit Castellanos on the ground, which is what you have to do with him. He was not able to run the way he did against Florida State.
Yeah, look, I liked Missouri a lot in this game. If you would have told me Castellanos' numbers after the fact, I would have been like, okay, Missouri won this game by 21 plus.
Yep. Yeah, 14-3 when they were down. That was an entertaining football game. Back to Texas and Georgia, that debate doesn't mean anything. In fact, it's more motivation for Georgia before they come play Alabama. But Texas jumping Georgia in the AP poll rankings didn't surprise you guys. It didn't surprise me that it would happen, but I still say Georgia has the better win of the season. Best win of the season so far is?
In the whole country?
Yeah. To me, it's Georgia over Clemson.
I mean, last week I would have said Texas at Michigan, but Michigan is to Klatt's point, they are regressing right now.
Yeah, and the USC over LSU doesn't look as good.
Klatt said pick a quarterback and go. They still don't trust Orji to throw. I mean,
they've changed their quarterbacks today.
Well, okay, so Orji is the
threw it
official
4
starter.
times?
He threw it 4 times, Jim.
Yeah.
Lance, that makes...
Oh, I would love for Orji to get the start here.
Well, he's going to, right?
I don't know.
It's an update that the ... I got to pull.
You got to go see what's after the ... Davis Warren, for those not watching, got benched. And to Klatt's point, I agree with him, Lance. You got to pick one and go with it. The rotating is not going to work.
Yeah, and look, and I think Orji is that guy unless, QB3 is on the radar, which is really, really interesting. And maybe Sherrone Moore panics a little bit in this situation because offensively, once again, they were really out of whack against Arkansas State.
Yeah. Orji, they don't trust him to throw, so I don't know how that's the guy. But then Davis Warren is a really, really good story. You want to pull for the kid. But you've seen him. He's not the guy. They don't have a quarterback. I mean, that's what we've determined is Jim Harbaugh was trying to take NFL jobs for 2 straight off seasons, and for whatever reason, that caused him to not sign quarterbacks. To follow J.J. McCarthy, they didn't address it through the transfer portal, and now they're in a mess.
Tennessee-Oklahoma is a big game this weekend. Highest-ranked matchup of ranked teams. You get USC at Michigan. You get Utah at Oklahoma State, where Oklahoma State's a favorite. This is all about Cam Rising, I assume, his availability.
Yeah, and I kind of dogged out Isaac Wilson, the backup quarterback for Utah. He looked really comfortable. Unfortunately, I watched a little too much of Utah and Utah State. But he looked much better against the Aggies this past weekend than he did when he came in against Baylor. With all that said, this game is like so important early in the Big 12.
No doubt.
Because I do believe the winner of this game more than likely is playing Kansas State. I mean, I know there's
the Big 12
championship. Yeah, I know there's a
championship.
lot of football to be played, and there's teams like BYU that could beat Kansas State this weekend, and they would be undefeated, and they could have an argument. UCF still got an argument. But I do believe this game, the winner of this game will play in the Big 12 championship.
MyBookie.ag chat room, Andrew UCF saying Utah now favored in that game.
Yeah, it flipped back. Utah is 1. Now, I saw
But it was right. It was 3 Oklahoma State at one point, right?
I never saw it get that high. I saw as high as 2.5. But I saw Utah opened at 1.5. It went to like Oklahoma State 2.5. Now it's jumped back to Utah. That's a really difficult game to handicap if Rising is healthy.
I'm going to save the rest of my sound until after you tell me which player and or coach or program got ghosted. Tell us about our great friends with Ghost, and or I'll tell you about our great friends at Ghost. You tell me who got ghosted this weekend.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if you look at Wake Forest, I really don't know what Ole Miss could have ended up putting up on this team, but it's almost like Wake Forest administration ghosted them by announcing this week that they wanted to get out of the home and home.
Bush League.
Yeah, for financial reasons.
Yeah, Bush League.
For financial reasons.
After
Ole Miss, but you've got to pay to get out, right?
I know, $1 million. After Ole Miss makes the visit, only until you know Ole Miss is coming do you make this call. This is extremely Bush League by Wake Forest.
Yeah,
Well,
and they get
enough
30.
to where Lane can mention it in the postgame.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Kiffin was pissed.
Oh, do we have sound on this?
Yeah, we do. Cut number 10. You get ghosted, and then you get it thrown back in your face. Lane Kiffin, after the game where they just named their score on the road at Wake Forest, here's Lane talking about what these guys are talking about, how Wake Forest doesn't want to play them anymore.
Thought our guys came motivated, good energy early on. We talked to them during the week about this, last time they get to play these guys. These guys during the week, called over, and John Curry said we're not playing next year and bought out of the game. So I thought that was a good message for our players that somebody willing to pay money not to play them. It says a lot of where our program is right now.
First of all,
I do like that, actually.
But first of all, you're going to walk in and tell me, guys, this is going to be the last time you ever get to play Wake Forest.
That's right. Let's go. That's one more for Ole
So,
Miss.
man, how does Clawson roll in there and tell his team, hey, we're not playing these guys next year because they're about to beat the hell out of you?
Yeah. After the game, they were probably like, okay, thanks,
And
Coach.
they did. I mean, look, Ole Miss is one of those fascinating teams. I really want to see them stack up against somebody good and see how good they are, much like Tennessee. And I think we'll get a little bit better of a gauge on Tennessee this week. But Ole Miss completely outmatched. I'm surprised Lane didn't run it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because he could have.
He could have. He could have been Josh Heupel. At least Heupel didn't do it in the second half. Heupel could have scored 100 against Kent State. He had 65 at the half.
Do you think South Carolina can make it interesting against Ole Miss? Like, South Carolina's better than I thought.
Is the game
it's in Columbia.
Yeah, I think in Columbia. They play a little bit.
Just because Sellers can run the football, and with Rocket Sanders, I mean, they've got a 1-2 punch that is absolutely deadly. Back to
is Sellers back for that game, though? That's a huge question.
I thought Missouri had a chance to cover. I really thought LSU had a chance to cover when they got up late.
Yeah.
And they were up 5, and then Rocket Sanders takes one to the house.
I mean, it's obvious that Shane Beamer does not trust Robbie Ashford to throw the football. I mean, that's just abundantly obvious.
Hey, gutty play, though, getting them in field goal range at the end, though.
Oh, I know. No, Ashford came in to do what he was asked to do. He did fine.
Yeah. That's a segment brought to you by our friends at Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration. Authentic flavors, 0 sugars, and no BS, the way we like it. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at all retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. That's our friends at Ghost and Ghost Energy there with the player and/or program they got ghosted. Hello, Wake Forest. A shout out to you right there. And also by our great friends at CPAP Plus, changing lives one at a time. Just updating your equipment sometimes can be all you need with our friends at CPAP Plus.
I just saw an amazing stat because Pat McAfee shows right in front of us. But rookie quarterbacks in the NFL have thrown 196 passes this year. They have yet to throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, they've not been good. I've yet to watch one rookie that looks very good.
So line them up. We'll do 6 more.
That's right.
Hey, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service that you can trust, visit CPAP Plus. 3 convenient locations, Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. New customers, they've got something special just for you. Get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, a CPAP cleaner, and even a travel CPAP machine. Offer is for private purchases only. You've got to let them know that you heard it right here on the next round. Stop by today, CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs.
Can I make a quick point on Ole Miss before we get too far from that? One reason I think I know why they're pissed is because Wake Forest got out of this. But, there's the mandate from the Southeastern Conference that you have to play at least one Power 5 out-of-conference game per year. Now, I am sure Greg Sankey in the Southeastern Conference will understand next year if they can't find a way to do it after what has happened. But their out-of-conference next year is Georgia State, the Citadel, and Tulane.
Yep.
Their out-of-conference in 2026 is at Charlotte and Eastern Kentucky. They don't have another Power 5 team rotating on until 2027 when they play Oregon State.
So they got to go out and do something.
And by the way, you're assuming Oregon State is still Power 5 at that time. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen there? It looks like they're trying to put the Pac-12 back together. I guess that'll, go through and still be active in 2027. But in this day and age, who knows?
They're making a phone call to Duke, I'm sure.
Well, you got to find somebody.
They're calling Duke.
You got to find somebody. But I think one reason Kiffin is probably pissed is he knows he's probably going to have to play on the road. I mean, good luck finding a Power 5 that's going to do a one-off and come to your place, right?
Right.
They're doing you a favor to give you this game, you're probably going to have to go on the road again.
I'm sure they can find a win out of this. One of my stock-ups was almost back to Oregon State, was almost Dylan Gabriel. Because, he hasn't been as electrifying as Bo Nix, but the dude is completing 84% of his passes through 3 games.
Pretty good.
They are 3-0. I thought they would have a coming-out party. They sort of did in Corvallis, but he's yet to turn the football over. And, his speed is a little underrated.
What ended up being underrated was the Colorado State game. Rockstar cut number 12. We played you all the smack talking from Colorado State going into that game, and it could have not have worked out better for Deion Sanders and the Buffs. First of all, another electric game from Travis Hunter, who had 13 catches, over 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and an interception on the other side of the ball. I still think everyone projects him as a defensive back in the NFL. Those numbers are impressive as a wide receiver.
Probably, but if I had to pick one or the other from Travis Hunter, I'd rather play receiver just from the money that these guys are getting right now. But I would say that he's probably more projected as a cornerback.
But Deion Sanders, sunglasses on after the night game win, and a beautiful diamond-crested whistle, as any coach would want to have, jumps in behind the microphone and explains this rivalry game, Colorado beating Colorado State after a week of smack talk from Fort Collins.
Wonderful game. Personal game, heartfelt game, emotional game. They kind of make it like that. We just want to play some football. The disrespect was uncalled for throughout the week. A couple of their players took shots at the whole program, and a few of our players, so it is what it is. So we knew that coming into the game it was going to be a bit personal, and it was. I think one of our coaches, Coach Phillips, doing warm-ups, one of the guys ran into him and elbowed him, which is uncalled for. I just pray that our kids never acted in that manner, because I know you guys would have a field day if they did. But I know you won't say anything or do anything when the opposing team does that versus us. Make derogatory comments during the week about our program. But when you allow kids to sit in an interview and talk against us, and you just got beat by 50-something in week 1, come on, dog. Somebody help me here. Am I missing something? Straight up, tell me. I don't see where that's done in sports. That has to be allowed. Ain't nobody crazy enough to sit up there and say nothing like, hey, who does that?
Look, I don't know about what he says about how his program would react to.
They just play football.
In terms of what he says about Colorado State, though, he is 1,000% correct. How Jay Norvell let his players run the mouth the way they ran their mouth.
And then play like they played.
At home.
Yeah.
You lose 28-9 at home.
Here come the losses, though.
I know.
I think there's a good chance. Well, I shouldn't say good chance. I mean, the game's virtually a pick at home against Baylor. But after that, at UCF, Kansas State, at Arizona, I mean, they've got Cincinnati's winnable.
Yeah, I know. They've got 2 great players that could win some of those games.
Yeah.
I still think now their 4 wins is kind of the ceiling.
I just cannot believe, though, that those players ran their mouth the way we played that video on Friday that Scott found. The way they ran their mouth and then played the way they played.
Yeah, I tried to get into that game. I had it rotating, but it's not a great game to watch.
Yeah, I had it on one of my TVs for some time.
I did too, but it was just so disappointing.
All right, when we come back, we'll get to trash. We'll hear from Hank Brown after his performance at Auburn, now that he's QB1 going into SEC play, at least for now. That's coming up after trash. Show brought to you by our friends at UCA, Urology Centers of Alabama. 35 urologists on hand, 16 great locations around the state of Alabama. Find one near you that'll help you out. Go to urologycentersalabama.com to find that location near you, or you can call 205-930-0920. Treating all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, and everything in between, including the big V right there. It's urologycentersalabama.com. Schedule your appointment today.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com. NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
A couple of things I get asked about in our Twitter feed and also some DMs right after LT tells us about HydroLife, nursing you back to great hydration and great health.
IV therapy, compression therapy, cryotherapy, all hydration therapy, all under one roof. If you're tired of feeling stuck in your weight loss goals, by the way, our friends at HydroLife Therapy, they are here to help as well on that front. HydroLife Therapy now offers weight loss therapy. This membership's available right now. HydroLife combines hydration therapy with targeted weight loss treatments. They provide a comprehensive approach to weight management. Again, any of those great services, mention The Next Round, 20% off. 2 locations, Homewood, the original location there, Highway 119 in Greystone, Tuscaloosa location, very important. Mention The Next Round, 20% off. For more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
James in the mybookie.ag chat room, awkward Peyton Thorne interview coming tomorrow. Did we not do this situation with Bo Nix?
100%.
Turned out not being awkward at all.
Yeah, that's because Bo got his job back.
Yeah. I think Peyton.
That game. So Bo lost starting job for one game. I don't think Peyton Thorne's going to get his job back. Maybe at some point.
I'm not ready to say that.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Here's the only thing I would say: you kind of know what you're getting with Peyton Thorne. If you want to grow, if you believe Hank is going to be the future of this program, you let him play.
Somebody asked.
Thank you, Lance Freeze.
Somebody asked in the mybookie.ag chat room, did the show not watch UAB over Arkansas? Actually, I did for a minute. For a minute, it was on my main TV. For a minute.
Help me. I didn't have the audio up. Were they, and it was in a quad box. Were they blowing that play dead?
Which one? Where the kid lost his helmet?
When the kid lost his helmet, because I know if you're a defensive player, you cannot pursue. I assume I assume when an offensive player loses his helmet, the play has got to be dead instantly.
I did not have volume up at that time, but man, I mean, the guy picks him up and slams him down on his head. That was extremely scary.
Yeah, and it could have been a lot worse. And thankfully, he's not injured even worse than he is.
Look, Jaquinda Jackson, say what you want about Rocket Sanders. That's one of those situations working out for both South Carolina and Arkansas, because I don't think you miss much with Jackson. Taylor Green just couldn't throw the football on Saturday, and that was really different. I give UAB a lot of credit to get, break speed off by Louisiana Monroe to come back and lead that game and be at least competitive the full 60 minutes. Got to give them a little credit there. But still, a lot of penalties, 10 penalties, turnover.
It is my second most interesting game this weekend on the slate, Arkansas and Auburn.
Behind Tennessee, Oklahoma?
Behind Tennessee and Oklahoma. Because I just want to see what Auburn and Hank Brown looks like against, it's not a top-tier SEC team, but it at least is SEC speed. Let's see what young Hank Brown has against that, and maybe it starts turning around.
Yeah, and Hank Brown's going to have something, Brown, because to me, Arkansas can score. Like Green was off, but they still put up 37. I know it's a bad UAB defense, but I think Auburn is going to have to score based on the Auburn defense I saw against New Mexico. Arkansas scores points.
As Hank Brown builds experience, it gets more difficult. That's the interesting thing with him, because Arkansas is going to be more difficult than New Mexico. Then Oklahoma will be more difficult than and then you got Georgia.
You'd rather do it that way, right, than go Georgia, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Or maybe if you did Georgia first, you're like, oh, this is easy.
That's why I think this is going to be so hard to judge Hank Brown, because as he's improving, they're increasingly playing more difficult defense. Now, if he tears it up, you got your answer.
Or maybe it just allows Bammers to be able to apologize it away every time. Oh, it's just Arkansas. Maybe it's just Oklahoma. And then eventually it's Georgia.
Odds you would put on seeing Peyton Thorne with the game still on the line in one of those three games. What are the odds?
I personally believe you'll see it.
Not starting.
I personally believe you'll see it Saturday.
So Hank Brown will struggle enough that you've got to go back to Thorne Saturday.
I think at some point Peyton Thorne comes in and saves the day.
Well,
Saturday.
I will tell you, if you see that soon, it's going to be
it's going to be a tough year, because now I don't know what you've solved at that point. Because again, even if Peyton Thorne comes back in against Arkansas, he's got to face Oklahoma and then Georgia. It's getting tough for him too.
And I don't think this Arkansas defense very good.
You don't think they're good enough to make Hank Brown struggle? I kind of agree with you on that. If you see Thorne again, I think it will be against Oklahoma or at Athens.
Okay, we'll talk to Peyton tomorrow. It's time now for our trash segment. I'll tell you more about trash right after I tell you about Champy's world-famous fried chicken, champy'schicken.com. champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster, brined overnight. Fried chicken. I go in there and get so many other things that sometimes I don't go with the basics, just the fried chicken. And I did that over the weekend. Just so good, down to the bone, juicy. Scott Sterling is so fantastic at his job. champy'schicken.com. Rockstar, the big button.
Hey, boys. So you got USFL football coming to town this weekend, huh? You excited about that?
Yeah.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying season out there. Friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. And while the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first, a Garda World employee. What is Garda World?
Garter?
Like Garter?
Like Garda.
It's kind of like a Brinks truck kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Garda. Garda World
gotcha.
employee arrested Wednesday after police say he stole nearly $70,000 from money bags and resealed them with glue. Now, according to arrest reports, Ronnie Antonio Copeland, 24 years old, of Clearwater, was a messenger for the security company. Messengers are responsible for getting out of the armored trucks and picking up or delivering cash. They are typically armed. On 4 days between June and August, Copeland, quote, tampered with money bags by removing cash, resealing the bags with glue, stolen cash valued at $69,702. Copeland was, quote, the only person with access to the money during this time. Before Copeland was suspended, the branch manager found super glue in his backpack.
I got to tell you, I'm not always just like, because it's the name brand, it's the best. There are some situations where, like Coke, you know, it's going to be hard for me if I'm dealing with money to go away from Brinks.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we can save $100 a month if we go Garda World.
It seems like Brinks has been doing this a long time.
But you heard one of their dudes was using super glue to steal money.
Yeah, but they're going to guard our money.
I know.
Couldn't you just blame it on the bag? You just picked up the bag. I don't count it, do I, before I leave the store? If I'm going in
I don't know how the process works.
If I'm walking in, if I work for Garter World, I'm walking into the next round, and you guys hand me a bag, do I count it in front of you?
I think there's probably got to be some sort of communication about this bag has this much in it, and you got to sign that that's what was in it or something.
Yeah,
I've never worked for Brinks.
If I was this dude right here, I'd be denying. If they don't have me on video, I'm denying till I die.
Deny till you die, right?
Yeah, I can't have super glue.
Yeah, that's
Am I America? I can't have super glue in my backpack.
Is that not one of those jobs, though, kind of like an underwater welder, where you're always literally looking over your shoulder?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you're running down the road with a lot of money in there, with signs on your truck that says, hey, I've got a lot of money in here.
That's right.
And I have one little small hole to shoot out at you.
Yeah, I've seen.
If you stay out in front of this hole, I can't shoot you.
Too many movies. I'm on the clock long enough. There's going to be an internal explosion. We're going to be rocked on our side.
That's right. I'm going to wake up and go, what happened?
Yeah.
All our money's gone.
Yeah.
So the Postal Service's new delivery vehicles aren't going to win a beauty contest. They're tall, ungainly. Windshields are vast. The hoods resemble a duckbill.
No, we're not.
Why?
Their bumpers are enormous. The USPS long-awaited new mail truck makes its debut.
Long-awaited. I have been waiting for this for quite a while.
This will be a long time before I see one of these.
Now, odd appearance aside, the first handful of the next-generation delivery vehicles had rolled onto postal routes in August in Athens. They're getting rave reviews from the letter carriers, accustomed to older vehicles with lack of modern safety features and are prone to breaking down, even catching fire.
Huh.
Yeah, the old model did that. Yeah, the old model didn't look like a smooth ride, but this one, why the big glass like that? Why does it look like it's a toy that Cord would play for?
The agency has put in $40 billion over the last 10 years to renovate, overhaul, and just give a different look altogether.
You know what? We pay for that, don't we?
Oh, yeah, that's taxpayer dollars. You know what that windshield looks like? It looks like I'm standing on the side of the street and the Pope's coming by and he's waving at everybody.
How big do the wipers have to be on that thing?
Massive.
No, that's insane. Do I stand up when I drive, Rockstar?
Don't know. Imagine cleaning the windshield at the gas station.
Does it not look like one of Cord's cars that he'd play with? They're always disproportional.
Too big. He had like them too big.
So, Deadline report shares that Judd Apatow is now attached to direct the project about the Pepsi-Coke wars in the mid-'80s. Steven Spielberg is going to be on board as one of the producers. They paid more than $1 million amid a tense auction earlier this year for rights. The Cola Wars, a real-life story of a rivalry that's lasted for decades, with important moments including New Coke, the wardrobe or pyro malfunction that saw Michael Jackson's hair catch fire. Every exact details on everything Sony's new soda movie will cover have yet to be revealed. If Apatow's on it and Spielberg's on it, it'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah, and I guess we won, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know who won the battle, but the whole New Coke thing is...
Yeah, look at market share. It's really not a battle.
Yeah, the whole New Coke thing is fascinating to me because... You know, there are a lot of people that think it was just staged to just re-energize Coke Classic. Like when Coke Classic came back, it was more popular than it had ever had been, right? That they never thought New Coke was going to be a thing. They were just like, let's find a way to re-energize Coke Classic. Well, absence makes the heart grow fonder. If they don't have it, they'll want it more. And then when it comes back, they'll go crazy. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm never going to take it for granted again.
And then, I know. And then there are some people, and the Coca-Cola people have told us this is absolutely not true, but there are some people that say New Coke, that Diet Coke is New Coke without the sugar or with artificial sweetener, which the Coca-Cola people have said that is not true.
So New Coke
The Diet Coke is new Coke without the sugar.
So new Coke had to walk so Diet Coke could run.
That's what people. That's one of the urban legends. Now the Coca-Cola people have told us false.
Well,
that
guess
is not
what?
the case.
It's worked out however they did it.
That's true.
Yeah, this could be good. Is there a love interest?
I'm sure they will.
I work for Pepsi. You work for Coke. It'll never work.
Now, is Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill or both? Paul Rudd. Who else?
Kevin Hart and I think The Rock and Jack Black.
The Rock.
Kevin Hart.
I want to destroy Pepsi.
Okay, from friendly smiley faces to cheeky peaches, emojis form a staple part of many of our daily messages. Now, 8 new emojis have been confirmed for version 16.0 of the Unicode standard. While the users will have to wait until next year to use them, new emoji have already created quite a buzz on social media. So here are some that we've got. I'm surprised we haven't had the bags under the eye emoji face there.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Tired?
Okay.
Yep.
That's tired emoji. Gotcha.
Next one's fingerprints.
Yeah, what can we use fingerprints?
Your prints are all over me.
Yeah, that's what. No, it'd be something like
Blue Clue.
That's true. A clue.
Yeah, another bad day at work. Dunaway and then fingerprint emojis.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
Dunaway's
have
fingerprints are all over the bad day
if
at
you're
work.
dealing with a crazy girl and she just sends you that fingerprint emoji, hey, with the we'll get to the next one. That's what you send her back. If she sends you she sends you the fingerprint. You see the splatter there.
Yep.
That's slime, right?
I don't know.
Sure.
Root vegetable, unneeded.
That's a turnip, right?
Leafless tree.
Yeah, don't need that one either.
A harp.
Yeah, somebody died. Like, hey, I got some bad news.
Crazy one sends you something, you send her the shovel back.
Ooh.
And then finally, that is the flag for Sark, not Steve Sarkisian. It is the island that is part of the English Channel.
Wow.
Oh, so I need that.
So if I send fingerprint, dead tree, and a shovel, Brownie, what have I done?
Oh, it's like an Ozark episode. Jim's killed somebody.
Hey, you just need the quad. You just need one more fourth.
Yeah.
I guess you could have Marty's tired eyes up there.
Yeah. I could go root. It tells me I killed somebody on the farm.
Okay, Rocky, we've got some humble brags. He's got them for us.
Oh, I love these. Sorry, Jim.
I love these too.
Oh, okay.
I just don't brag about it.
You don't brag that you love them? All right, these are humble brags. This is, for those that can't see, a young lady showing her chest, her flat stomach, and it says, "Why do I have abs if I never work out? I'm confused." I do not like
stress your image at all. Like that's a very natural image.
Do not like these people.
Yeah, can I just go ahead and tell you that
it's a long torso.
Yeah, I hate to say this. That is sort of unattractive there in the skinniest part by left and right hemisphere of her navel. That's not the best look.
Okay.
Too skinny.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, I just think it's been altered. I think that's why.
Yeah, well, something else has been altered.
Why am I attracting only outgoing women? My entire life I got approached only by outgoing and popular women. Meanwhile, I'm a depressed homebody with little to no friends. Is there a reason these types of girls go for guys like me? Weren't they supposed to like charismatic and outgoing guys?
This is a degrading humble brag.
I'm tearing myself down.
Yeah, I'm horrible, but they still keep coming after me.
I mean, I'd like to judge by seeing what the outgoing women look like.
I think your takeaway is women are coming after him left and right. That's what he wants you to believe.
I can't believe you pulled that off my 1990s timeline, Rockstar. Genuinely forgot how much I love this photo of my niece.
From her back of her head.
I know, it's a photo of my niece. I can't see her at all.
Yeah.
But, buddy, you can see my pecs and my abs.
Yeah.
What in the hell? What's he handing her?
It's a photo of my niece, Lance.
Is it like a workout, like a bag glove?
Hey, little fingers on them.
Hey, also, don't miss the fact she's in a winter jacket and he's outside showing off the guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't read that at all. That awkward moment when business first class starts to feel like economy and you need a private jet ASAP. That is awkward. I hate it when that happens.
Goodness.
It's terribly awkward.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Somebody you don't want to know.
Yeah. These meds have had me all out of whack since coming home from the hospital a few weeks ago. It's gotten so bad that while folding and hanging my clean laundry today, I actually noticed I had washed and dried a pair of jeans with just over $19,000 in the pockets.
I mean, God, so frustrating when that happens. $19,000 in the pockets.
Yeah.
God, so these meds have got me all screwed up, man.
Maybe those aren't meds, drug dealer.
Yeah, I was about to say, you better hope that you're still going through on your meds with everything you need to.
Get the old knock on the door.
Oh, no.
All right, we got an employment application and a stiff drink there, Dunaway.
Okay, it says,
Got invited
to apply
at Twin Peaks.
At Twin Peaks while eating because of my body and beauty. Dead. 10 out of 10. So this girl's eating at Twin Peaks. I'm assuming it's a female. Eating at Twin Peaks. And somebody walks up and says, you ought to apply right here.
Yeah. But first of all, just a chick by herself eating at Twin Peaks is interesting.
Yeah, but how many times is that the manager's move? Good-looking girl in at Twin Peaks by herself. He walks up. Really, you should be working here.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not his first time.
Give me your cell phone number. I'll set all this up. Right.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
Just fill out the first part.
I just need your cell number. That's all I really need.
Social Security.
That was it? Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys our man Reggie Moneypenny let me he was busy when we used to do business with the Tilted Kilt. Remember the Tilted Kilt?
Remember the Tilted
Kilt. Years
and
years ago. He was like, hey, look, man, I got a couple of girls I need to interview. Will you just he's like, you just sit there and talk to them, ask them questions, random questions.
Yeah, how fun
was
that?
I went through the interview process with him. It was very, very interesting.
Who was the 8th president?
Yeah.
Is that the kind of stuff you asked them?
And they got hired you know,
I think Reggie showed you the interview wasn't real key.
No.
There, Tilted Kilt.
Just make sure they didn't drool.
Do you have any priors? Is there a chance they're going to show up and arrest you and take you to jail? No, you're hired.
He said, look for track marks. Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200 or online at mortgageright.com.
And the fine folks at the Pants Store, great locations. The original in Leeds, Birmingham, a couple locations, Huntsville, and of course Tuscaloosa and Auburn, your game day headquarters. Bama and Auburn polos and hats and quarter zips, Horn and Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Gentile, the great name brands you'll get there. Plus the rompers and the dresses for the ladies, Western boots and New Balance and Hokas as well. Free alterations, free gift wrapping as we close in on the holidays again. Nothing says Roll Tide or War Eagle like the Pants Store, pantstore.com, pantstore.com. He's everybody's All-American down at Auburn these days. He's the new face of the Auburn offense. He's Hank Brown. And he got asked after the game about his performance in his first start and his relationship with next-round guest Peyton Thorne.
You know, it's obviously great getting a win. I think there's a lot of things that I've got to clean up for SEC play, but just excited about the win and going to take it all in. Yeah, you know, I'm really close with Peyton. You know, he's been great. He's awesome. He's a leader. He, you know, does a great job of helping me out from an experience standpoint. And, you know, we've been staying in communication, and it's been good.
I will say, Hugh Freeze said after the game that there was one point he was walking over to make a correction on a read with Hank Brown, and he said, when I got over there, Peyton Thorne was already making the correction, which it speaks very highly of Peyton Thorne. You didn't sit around and sulk. You were a good teammate.
And I think the first touchdown, he wasn't the first one, but he was in the line to give him, you know, pats on the back.
Look, and your team's going to need that. They don't need the division. They don't need the distraction. And I still think they're going to need Peyton Thorne. I mean, this is no knock on Hank Brown. He's just a first-year starter. At some point, he's going to hit a tough time where I think Hugh Freeze, even if it's for a couple of series, is going to need him on the sideline just to get a look from over here, settle down. Let's walk through some things while we got time. Peyton will go out there and hand it off. I think you're going to need Peyton Thorne at some point this year.
Who are great quarterbacks and numbered 15? Any pop to mind for you guys?
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow is 15?
Yes, sir.
Is what's Mahomes?
Mahomes 15.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
You putting Hank Brown in the Tim Tebow?
I'm just saying 15 is a good number choice.
Okay.
Right. Interesting. One more on Hank. This is everything that we've been talking about. All of us non-Auburn fans, we've been trying to poke holes in Hank Brown. I was against New Mexico. What were they ranked going in defensively, Brown?
Well, and I did look at rushing actually during the game just to make sure I was correct on this. 132 out of 134 in rush defense. Their total defense could not have been much better.
133 total defense.
Yeah, were they? Yeah, that is not good. Yeah.
So all of the non-Auburn fans who are trying to poke holes in Hank Brown have said that since Saturday. And then here comes Hank Brown getting asked about, you've got to step into SEC play now, Hank. Look out, Hank. Here comes the SEC.
It's definitely surreal. It's encouraging, but, you know, I think I got a lot to build on from this week and, you know, from this game. So, you know, I'm excited. Like I said earlier, you know, I love when the competition level is raised, and I think that's where, you know, I'm at my best when we're playing the best. And so, you know, I'm excited for SEC play and excited to dominate Arkansas.
All right, don't pull it down real quick. In the mybookie.ag chat room, Dave says Hank Brown is Judge Reinhold's son.
Well,
I do see some Judge Reinhold.
He actually just Kirsten Dunst.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah, but the eyes and the mouth. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I thought he was a younger version of our friend from On 3, tight end. A little bit of tight end. Is it Grant?
Firking?
Yeah.
Oh, Grant Firking?
Little Grant Firking?
I could maybe see some of that. Kirsten Dunst was really good. I see it in the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah.
Dominate Arkansas is the way you finish that. And that is obviously your goal, is you want to go dominate Arkansas.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of public money on Arkansas this week.
I think there'll be a lot of points in that game, don't you? I think that's a high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah.
Auburn, Arkansas. Yeah, a little bit of a track meet in that one.
All right, so back to the Alabama game as we wrap up here. And we'll talk Alabama in the post-game news conference coming up. MyBookie.ag. Betting lines. Is there a sneak peek line at Georgia yet? Have anybody seen one?
I've seen. Somebody sent us 3.5, 4.5. Furman was going to give me. Let me text Furman real quick. See if he
I would list it at 2.5. Georgia 2.5. I'll stick with that.
So it's been as high as 4 Georgia? Is that what you were saying, Brownie? You've seen 3.5, 4 Georgia?
I'll have to dig back.
I haven't seen anything.
Hang on, I have to dig back on Twitter. I'll tell you where it came from. Somebody shot us a screenshot on Twitter during the show when we were talking about this earlier.
Usually Circa is one of the early.
Yeah, Tommy sent it, and I don't see covers.com. I don't know what lines they use, Lance, at covers.com. You may know this.
Maybe MGM.
I wouldn't even think that they would have this out. I know there's a number that is out there floating around, I'm sure, but
they have Georgia -4.5 at covers.com with a total of 54.5. So that was from earlier. Don't even know, how much you can play on that. I'm sure it's limited. I'll see if Furman can get us one before the end of the show.
Wow, take a little Bama plus 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 seems a little high. I think it'll be a shade under.
Last time they were a home dog.
Who, Bama?
Yeah. How long has that been?
Oh, my gosh. Probably LSU Saban's first year?
Probably so. I can't think of another time when they would have been a home dog.
Oh, do that research. We'll have that tomorrow. That's a good one.
I mean, I think Lance is on it. I don't know. Once Saban got it rolling, they were never a home dog. Yeah. Rarely were they a road dog, much less a home dog.
Yeah, they went years, the longest ever.
Yeah, without being a road dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when they would have been a home dog. Like even that 2019 LSU team that came in, Alabama was still favored in that game.
Even with a banged-up Tua.
And that's got to be the best opponent Alabama's ever hosted at Bryant-Denny was that 2019 LSU team, and they were the favorite in that game.
Kalen DeBoer coming up here in overtime. All of our lines at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, promo code next round.
Yeah, down to 5.5 tonight, by the way. I've said 6 is where you'll find the Falcons-Eagles game. It's down to 5.5 if you're interested. Mybookie.ag, great place to go. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. With mybookie.ag, you make your initial deposit, use code NEXTROUND, and they double that initial deposit. Use it right away, mybookie.ag.
One thing you don't like about this Alabama team so far, one thing that you're worried about hasn't impressed you?
I saw some missed tackles.
Yeah.
And I just don't recall, even when there were some defensive hiccups, it was more miscommunication. I saw missed tackles on Saturday. And once you get into SEC play and you're going against – I'm trying to think like of elusive quarterbacks that are coming up. I don't know if you've got any of those guys, but I think they need to shore up the tackling.
Nico runs good enough.
Yeah,
By
good
the time
enough.
you get to the third Saturday in October, you've already mentioned third down plays, third and long. They let them get
a couple
either
of them.
first downs or at least close enough to go for it on fourth down. Is there anything else?
I think what Klatt said is you keep seeing guys get open behind that secondary, but Byron Brown and any of the collection of Wisconsin quarterbacks weren't good enough to take advantage of it. Nico will take advantage of it. Carson Beck will take advantage of it. So you gotta clean that up a little bit. But that's part of the early season, and it's part of learning Kane Womack's system. They've got time to clean it up.
Yeah.
Now, time starts next Saturday.
That's right.
Or time ends next Saturday to clean it up.
Time's officially on the clock now.
That's right, yes.
It's the next game where Alabama and Georgia will meet again coming up a week from Saturday in prime time, and both will be unbeaten. And to date, it'll be the biggest game in the country of the year so far by the time they play each other coming up this weekend. And that, of course, will change depending on the outcome. All right. Good show today. Appreciate you all being with us. We continue our nonstop Monday football coverage coming up on the other side in overtime. Brought to you by our friends at Roback. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America. All right, back with you now with our overtime as LT will make his way out, and Brownie and I will walk you through some news conference action today with Kalen DeBoer doing a rare off-week news conference, bye-week news conference. There's never an off-week, son. So they'll do a bye-week news conference. Kane Womack's still over there right now talking about the defensive effort that had Alabama go on the road and get a big win against Wisconsin. And your first takeaway from that game, Brown, had to be Jalen Milroe and just how he put on a show for the nation.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely did. Highlights of national TV. It was not a great early slate, so I think a lot of people will be interested in seeing the ratings. I would imagine, especially in that early slate, Alabama-Wisconsin was the highest-rated game of the day, though LSU. It might have been LSU, South Carolina. That was a good game, one of those two. So you had a lot of people watching. And in terms of the Heisman race, maybe Milroe had not had his best start or the start you would want. He wasn't playing a ton in one of those games. His offensive line wasn't great in another one of those games. You got that offensive line back hole, and you saw what you could get out of Jalen Milroe. 12 of 17, 193, 3 touchdown passes, ran in another 2. 5 total touchdowns. Like Lance said earlier, I think we let it wash over us now. And 5 total touchdowns on the road against Power 5, that's a heck of a day.
Absolutely. Rowback.com is a heck of a place to get some great gear if you're a golfer or just some sporting wear, from shirts to pants and everything in between. Rowback.com. Use the promo code TNR20, TNR20, and get 20% off that initial order there with our friends at Rowback, Rowback.com. Really enjoyed Jalen Milroe on that spotlight. I'm sure he enjoyed having the offensive line back intact because it was just like a totally different unit, and we talked to Tyler Booker about that earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, once it had Proctor back, because if you notice, they still were, rotating some other guys in there on the other side. But having that left side set with Proctor and Booker, and not even having to think twice, those guys are so good over there. That has got to free up Chris Kapilovic to do maybe some other things if he needs to. I know Brailsford was in and out a little bit there early, but once you have Brailsford, Booker, Proctor over on that left side, even if you have to rotate some guys in, even if Jaden Roberts is a little bit banged up, or Formby or Pritchett out there, having that left side set is what is so key. You just know you can depend on it. You're protecting Jalen Hurts' backside. When you need to run over there, you can run over there. We finally got to see, for a little bit, a complete Alabama offensive line, and they were a different offense out there. And that shouldn't surprise you. I mean, you're going to be a better offense when your offensive line is good and whole.
CoverCrimson.com for continuous Alabama coverage. CoverCrimson.com, Clint Lamb and his team over there, Mick Gillespie and all the guys, with unbelievable postgame coverage after every Alabama game on the site there, CoverCrimson.com. Go and subscribe starting at $1. A lot of the content over the air is free, premium content for $1 a month starting out, and that gives you some insider information, notes, snap counts, and that kind of stuff. CoverCrimson.com, Brownie.
I will say this, Lance has departed, but we'll let him know when he comes back in here. Furman did text me back and say Georgia 2.5 is the early official Vegas line right now.
That's exactly where Lance would have put it. Bonus coverage today, overtime, brought to you by our friends at Rowback. Rowback.com. You're about to get Kalen DeBoer to come to the podium and talk to us about the bye week and what Alabama will be taking from Wisconsin and self-improving this week, and then working towards Georgia coming to town. No longer number 1 Georgia in the AP poll. It's Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Missouri in the top 7. Miami is at 8, Oregon 9, Penn State 10, the new AP poll. That was out yesterday. Rowback.com giving you 20% off if you use the promo code TNR. So Alabama's offensive line was back. Kalen DeBoer, big plays from is he 17 years old?
I've not heard his age. I don't know. Ryan Williams, is that who you're asking about?
They don't mention Ryan Williams' age ever, but the 17-year-old who should be still getting ready for prom. That's another one you hear all the time. Playing very well these days. And then you had some great defensive plays. I know you guys have been worried about tackles, but there was some physicality from a guy like LT Overton that just brought the punishment when he had a chance to hit somebody.
Yeah, he did. And everybody focuses on the hit on the quarterback there where he stole the kid's soul. But he got pressures, and a lot of times, as Nick Saban said before, and I know Kane Womack feels the same way, sometimes pressure is just as good as a sack. It leads quarterbacks into making poor decisions. They'll throw off their back foot. They'll put the ball in harm's way. So, sometimes pressure matters just as much as a sack. A sack may lose yardage. Pressure may lead to an actual turnover. So I think that's huge. And that is all we had heard in the offseason, Dunaway, is how good LT Overton had been in scrimmages and in practice. And you're finally starting to get to see that a little bit with LT Overton.
Here's Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa, fresh off his first road win. Let's listen in. Brought to you by our friends at Roback.com.
All right. Appreciate you all being here, and it was a good weekend for us. Everything's a first, right? Going on the road was our first time together with our staff, and thought the guys did a nice job. I was happy, obviously, with the outcome, but also just the process and everything leading up to it and how the weekend went. So I thought they had a great balance of high energy, passion, emotion, but not being over emotional, and having a business-like mindset, and going and just knowing that it was going to be you versus a great crowd there, and thought we did a nice job, just staying the course and made the plays, got the momentum on our side, especially there in the second quarter. The end of the half especially was a big deal, and I preach to the guys, keep playing, keep believing, and things will come your way. We're athletic enough, we got playmakers, and that's exactly what happened. Getting the stop, getting the field goal attempt, and flipping that around in 36 seconds or whatever it was, and getting some points and then doing it again. I thought that was a big piece of what we preach each and every day, and it happened. So some things I know you met with, heard from the coordinators, but I think not having the special teams coordinator up here, I think one highlight also is just how James Burnham's been doing, kicking the football. He's a game changer. He can flip the field really on any kick. We saw that again on Saturday, and just proud of the way he goes about it. He's just quiet, but man, when he hits the ball, it makes some noise, and I mean that in a lot of ways. And so it's fun seeing him do his thing at a high level. So I thought, as far as how he handled the environment and the noise, thought the offense did a nice job. Did a great job in the week of preparation. Felt like they were ready for whatever was thrown at them. I think the coordinators probably talked about some of the turnovers and takeaways, and how we were better there. Thought we were better on third down, solid in the red zone again. So a lot of those main things showed up. We were taking the next step, I think, this last week in from where we were at against South Florida. So always things from an execution standpoint to improve on, areas where a bye week is important to continue to address, continue to build our depth, develop guys that we know we're going to need throughout the rest of the season.
Let's start with Nick Kelly up front line. Yeah, I'll ask two special teams questions. That's all right. Graham Nicholson, he got a chance to attempt his first field goal of the season this past game. What do you make of just his limited opportunities and making sure he's ready to go? And then second question, we saw Ryan Williams return a punt. Could we see some more of that potentially this season?
Yeah. With Graham, we've been scoring when we get in the red zone, getting the touchdowns. We haven't been in too many spots until Saturday, where we had the field goal, 46-ish, I think, 47, somewhere in there. I think he hit it good. I think in pregame we felt like maybe there was a little bit of a breeze coming right to left, probably over-calculated that, and it wasn't something where I felt like, where I know we all feel like he mishit it or anything. We just got to do a better job of understanding, the direction or how much it's going to influence the kick. So, yeah, and that's part of being a kicker, right? Pregame, during the game, towards the end. I mean, it's going to change, and so each side of the field changes. I know he expects himself to make that. We expect him to make it. He's been solid all fall camp. In regards to Ryan, with the injury to Cole Adams, that was one guy taken off of that area, and our depth, and so Bach's been back there doing a good job with his opportunities, and we need to continue to build that. And just getting Ryan one rep out there, I thought was good. He did a nice job. Looked very comfortable back there. There's some other guys, Germ Jeremy Bernard could do that as well. He's been working on it, not just this year, but in the past. And so we just want to make sure guys continue to get that one rep, feel comfortable. And there's always little things that pop up that guys can learn from. And there were some learning opportunities even with Bach, just staying away from the football on one of the punts that was rolling. We got to do a better job there staying away. So everything is, again, new experience, especially for some of these younger guys, freshmen like Ryan and Bach. But they've done a really nice job so far.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Did you have any reaction or say anything to guys like Jeremy or any of the other players for what they said after the game about jump arounds?
Yeah, I didn't realize until yesterday, and actually Jerm did come in and he owned it. I didn't even bring it up to him. I didn't even know it happened until yesterday. Just he's a first-class guy, and the emotions and the excitement of the game and all that. Unfortunately, you sometimes say things you get asked to comment on, and he actually wanted to say something to the team. We want to be first class, and we slipped up a little bit there, and he addressed the team yesterday in our team meeting, and everyone knows who Jerm is and respect the heck out of him. So something like that is something. There was a great atmosphere. Really, Wisconsin, the environment there was great. I think our guys enjoyed that transition there in between the third and the fourth quarter just as much as anyone. So, nothing but respect for what the environment was and who they are as a program.
Far left, Chase.
Coach, how much did Jalen Milroe change protections pre-snap against Wisconsin, and where is he at in that part of developing his game?
Yep, good question. I'm trying to think through. I feel like there was, I think you get into the situations, probably the latter down at distances, third downs, when you see, the pressures, and I think he did a really solid job. There was one time, and it wouldn't fall necessarily on his lap, where there was a little bit of miscommunication across the board, or it didn't happen as fluid as smooth as you would like. I think we got to the point where we needed to by the time the ball was snapped. But just everyone being on the same page. And that's not just the offensive line and him, that's everyone, And so we could have done a better job across the board. But in regards to Jalen, we are continuing to ask more and more of him as he gets more comfortable with what we do. And we know that is going to need to be the case, where he has full reign right now. He knows what the expectations are and what we really prefer him to be doing with the checks, and he's been really solid, and that's going to be important for us going into SEC play. We know that for sure.
Up the middle of the room here, Mike.
How have you seen Justice contribute to the offense even in games where he's not getting a ton of carries like this one?
Who? Oh, Justice Haynes, yeah. Right off the bat, getting him the ball, he can do a lot of things. Catching the ball, ran through a tackle right off the bat, set the tone there. Some of the carries where he'd have been involved ended up being throws, RPO plays, run, keeps by the quarterback. And so all of a sudden you get to the middle of the third quarter and you hit another explosive there at the beginning of the fourth. And we're pulling all our guys, and I know we need him to be really a very productive guy for us. And I thought when he was out there, he was exactly that. We trust and believe in him like no other. The guy works his tail off every single day. He's fun to coach. He's great in protection. He's out in the routes. He's obviously a huge threat when he's got the ball in his hands. And so. Just sometimes the flow of the game and the rotation we have, the ball didn't end up in his hands as much, but the ball will continue to find him because I know Jalen believes in him, our coaching staff believes in him, and so you try to be intentional on some of that stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't go exactly how you planned as far as who gets the touches and so forth.
Left side, front row, Tony.
You have a great record in these marquee kind of matchups, and you got one coming up. Just what would you attribute to your success in these kind of games, and then how do you approach it with kind of a 2-week window right now?
Yeah, I mean, great players, great coaching staff around you is always what makes it all go. People who are comfortable, being alongside with you in these big games and these big, get into SEC play. They're all going to be big, and so the players make plays, and it's our job to just continue to put them in the best spot, help them continue to gain confidence. Remind them that the preparation is what's going to lead to their success, and just a belief in what we do, how we do it. That's to me football. That's how you're successful in anything, and so that's what we'll do here with the bye week. Use a couple days here to just relax as far as like kind of decompress a little bit. 7 weeks now these guys have been going. I know it's only 3 games in the season, but they've been going for 7 weeks as of tomorrow when it comes to practices, and this little time here where they can take care of some school and kind of get caught up or just make sure they're on pace and working ahead even in those areas that are away from football, and knock that out so they can do what they love and not have any distractions. Thursday, Friday, we'll get back on the practice field, and Wednesday, we'll do some things as well. So, these guys need, the physical break as well. I think we're in an okay spot, when it comes to health, but you can always be better, and that's what a bye week gives you.
In front row here, Joe.
Coach, going back to Jalen, the first touchdown pass to Ryan Williams, it looked like the exact same play as the miss in the first drive to Emmanuel Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
How indicative is that redo of Jalen Milroe's kind of growth this year out of what you've seen?
Yeah, and in both of them, I thought he felt comfortable. He looked comfortable, I think, throughout the game because of our offensive line starts up front with the protection. And, I think he felt that he did a good job really reading the coverage, seeing where the safety help might be, and, really hit it in rhythm. A little tighter coverage on the first one to E-Man, but, Ryan had a step, and, that was the difference. But I think even just, kind of looking at the trajectory of the ball, and having to throw it a little flatter so that the help couldn't get there in time, but also not making it too flat to where you had a little room for error. I thought it was just a great throw. Hit him in stride. Ryan did his thing, secured it, and it was really fun, especially on a third down and long, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. So huge point in the game there for us to get the ball in the end zone, and not just be something that's a 3 or 4 yard game, but a 30 plus yard explosive.
Back left, Steven.
You mentioned burn-up coach at the start, but what does it do for your defense to have a guy that can consistently put the opponent in a rough position every time?
Yeah, I thought about just even that sequence. I believe we forced a punt right after that, or it was a takeaway maybe, and just how the field flipped just with a few plays there. And James does that for you. As long as we give him what we need, from a protection standpoint, you're going to get a good snap with Nealon. He's rock solid, and James puts everything into it, all his energy and power into that kick, and technically he's just so sound and so consistent. So he's been that way all fall camp, and we got a lot of trust in him, and it's something our whole team, when he goes out there, they believe in him, and so it's a weapon to have. And as you said, it flips the script, and now the defense, with a little more field space to work with, can set the tone, especially when you get into those backed up situations. I think 3 times inside the 20-yard line is what James did as far as backing them up. So huge weapon for us.
Back right side of the room.
Coach, I know you talked about it earlier, but going into a bye week, how do you approach an early bye week, and what are some of the things you want to see going into it with SEC play, obviously, next week?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good because I think every bye week is a little different. Early bye weeks, again, there has been 7 weeks of football that these guys have been kind of going as far as hitting each other, but it is early in the season still. For us, we'll take a few of these days here, like I said, just to let the coaching staff start working ahead on the schematics, game plan. There's obviously some recruiting. There's other parts of the program there the coaches focus their attention as well. But then from a player standpoint, just trying to get them, a little bit of a mental break here for a second. It's only a couple days, but let them be students here for a few days as well, just not just the athletic part. So, later on, you kind of adapt, even not just when you practice, but how long you practice. But we'll have some really good solid practices here at the latter part of the week, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Gives us a jump on the next game with Georgia.
Emily Grace, right in the middle there.
Coach, you touched on it in your open about the decision to be so aggressive in the last 36 seconds of the first half. Can you elaborate more on that and what you and Coach Sheridan saw that led to that decision?
We had, 36 seconds. You got a field goal kicker you believe in, and I think 3 timeouts, if I remember right. So you got a lot working for you. We get any type of gain at all, and we're in bounds. We're gonna use the timeout there and see if we can get a first down or two. And the guys just went out and made a play. Great time in the pocket. I know Jalen, I think, got hit a little bit as he was making the throw, but anticipation, I think you saw, not to break down the play because I know that's not the question, but I think you saw a trust and anticipation in Jalen on that throw as Ryan is just taking off. The throw is being made. Good read of the defense, and Ryan doing his thing again. Set us up for another explosive. Germ's the first read on the play. There's other guys that I think were coming into windows that we could have hit as well. But it all started with protection on both those plays. And when you have confidence in the guys up front and protect your quarterback and a quarterback that's going to make smart decisions, I've been overcoaching those probably early on with Jalen to take care of it in this situation or that. The more and more it's just these little blurps that I'm giving him, and he's on the same page. And so that's part of the progression of us working together more and more, the progression of now you take that to the film room and talk about why we were aggressive in that moment, and then seeing it pay off. It just gives your team a lot of confidence because the defense knows that anytime, if we just give the ball to the offense, whether it's off a takeaway and we have red zone, or two-minute drill, just a lot of confidence that goes back and forth and playing good team football.
All right, we have time for one last question. Colin on the far left.
Hey, Kaylin, two-parter if I could. First, you mentioned the pause. I'm curious with this bye week, how you've seen Ryan Williams kind of respond to what he's been able to do across these 7 weeks for you guys, and kind of how he should reflect and kind of move forward as SEC play starts out soon. And then do you have updates on the status of Quay Russaw, Malachi Moore, and then Richard Young?
Yep. As far as Ryan, the thing that impresses me so much about him is the business-like mentality he has when it comes to football, but the way he's able to balance it with a personality that is just fun to be around. Loose when you have that time to be loose. It just happened, probably an hour ago, a chance to just be around him and smiling and enjoying being who he is, and then turning into this, beast on the football field through these first 3 games. And, there's going to be ups and downs just like anyone for him that'll come. But I'm confident in his maturity, well beyond his years, being only 17. And, I don't feel like I'm pumping him up too much because I think he's getting the job done on the football field, and he's making it happen there. But it's fun seeing that balance and just, let him be him. That's what I want all our players to be. But he's a joy to be around because when he gets on the football field, when he's in the weight room, man, there's a lot of focus. And, I know he prioritizes things even like sleep. He's just really locked in on what needs to be done for him to be the best he can be. As far as injuries, Cole, again, this is a good time with the bye week. I would expect that here as we get to the latter part of the week, he's continuing to move forward. We can kind of see where he is. We won't push him too hard here. The end of the week with physicality and things like that, make him vulnerable. But I think, it's positive steps that we're seeing. Quay, with the evaluation of him, I think, again, the bye week's huge. I think he probably later in the week will, be able to do some things for us, and we'll certainly be careful with him. We don't want to have any setbacks, but I would feel like it's, a positive progression for him already here just in the last couple days. And who's the third one? 4 of them. Malachi, he got obviously hit to the head, blow to the head. He popped up and ran off the field, but I also know that there's a protocol we got to go through. And so a lot of positive signs there with him already here for these first couple of days. And again, we just got to go through that progression that needs to be done when it comes to those type of injuries. And Richard, I'm not sure on Richard a little bit. I think his is, kind of got to continue to evaluate here, and can probably have some follow-up here maybe towards the end of the week.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Real tight.
All right. That's the news conference over in Tuscaloosa earlier today with Kalen DeBoer in a bye week, with a lot of work to get done and some interesting injury updates there at the end, including Rousseau, who, when you saw it in the game, it looked very serious. Yeah. That sounds like through a little work, he'll be ready to go this upcoming game against Georgia. Good time for a bye week for him.
Yeah, I thought all in all that was a very positive injury update there at the end. Cole Adams looks like he could be back by the end of this week. Rousseau potentially more just in concussion protocol. You don't know about those things, but a bye week is good timing there. Really the only one was Young that you don't quite know about right now.
And it did sound like maybe they're evaluating through some testing and see where he's at. I was excited to see him get in and run some.
He's a load, isn't he?
Yeah, and you keep hearing rave things from camp. You're about to hear from Hugh Freeze. It's game week for Auburn. They've got Arkansas starting SEC play. The overtime today being brought to you by our friends at Roback, roback.com, promo code TNR20. Here is Hugh Freeze getting ready to welcome the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yes, man, we've had a full morning. Excited about opening SEC play at home in Jordan-Hare. Our fans were incredible again last week, which is pretty stinking amazing, truthfully. I mean, I was prepared to cancel Tiger Walk, and I came early to meet with recruits and saw all the people, and I said, well, we can't do that. So our people are just really, really special, as are our students and everyone that supports us. So we're thankful for that. Good win, a lot of things to clean up, but a lot of positives also. And hopefully we can build on those things as we open SEC play. Offensively, 40-plus points is good, 7.3 yards in a play, and had 15 explosives, so solid there. Negatives, we turned the ball over. Can't do that. And we weren't great on third down, even though a couple of those were skewed a little bit with the last drive and the Hail Mary. So we've got to just continue to try to improve and be who we're going to be there. We kind of sabotaged ourselves on the one red zone that we didn't score a touchdown. Can't do that against teams that we're getting ready to face. Special teams-wise, kickoff returns were explosive. It changed their game plan. We won field position with that. The biggest glaring thing, both special teams and defensively, is the number of penalties that we had, which is not who we are. And never had a team I don't know, that may be the most yards penalties I've ever experienced. And unfortunately, some of them were selfish, and that's disappointing and cannot happen. Defensively, just that we did get 2 takeaways, but we were seemed chaotic and unsure. Now, I will say they had an open week, and they threw the kitchen sink at us from every formation, every motion, every unbalanced, and a quarterback that can run around and make plays. But we didn't tackle well, didn't think our effort was great. And hopefully that's a good learning lesson for us, and I know DJ feels that way, and we'll work hard this week to make sure that we don't see a repeat of that. But a win, and hopefully we can build upon that as we turn our attention to what's a much improved Arkansas team. This quarterback is another one that's going to run around and make a lot of plays, and they've got a really good offensive scheme that makes you prepare for a lot of different things, and experienced coaches that have done this a long time. O-line is probably the most improved unit that I've seen this year with the guys they brought in from the portal, and They're really, really improved in the offensive line. Defensively, they're very similar to last year. A lot of returners, probably better in the secondary a little bit. Front's the same guys. One backer's back. So it's pretty similar defensively, and they're playing really, really hard right now. But offensively, it's a lot to deal with the way they're using their quarterback in the run game and in the pass game, and their running backs are really, really solid with an improved O-line.
Coach, he seemed really pleased with Hank after his first start as QB1. Now that you've had time to review the film, what things did you note on film that you're going to work on with him this week headed into Arkansas?
Well, the game plan will be a little different, and so you won't, I won't spend too much time. None of us will. After we clean this tape up today, we'll do the few corrections that he had. Truthfully, he had 3 things that we need to get corrected. Other than his clock awareness has got to improve. But he had 2 times he got us late in the clock. One was a delay, and he did not have to even get out of that play. He was thinking a little too much. Awareness of clock stuff, but the things that the 3 things that he did there, one was a really poor choice on a rollout pass. Can't do that. The other 2 were not necessarily bad passes. They're just a better option. On certain things, whether it's you need to throw into pressure here, or you did not need to check out of this. It was not man coverage, and you got, that just comes with experience, and those were really the only 3 things. He got us in the right runs. 100% of his checks were right. So his decision making was good. His execution was good. Could have had a higher percentage of completions, I think. Had a drop, by Perry, and had a couple wet ball issues probably that hurt him some there at the end of the second half, as we had no timeouts and we weren't getting a dry ball in. But I was pleased with his first performance for sure, and next week will be a bigger test for him.
Hugh, defensively, the first half, you guys have given up a pretty good amount of points and yards this last 2 games, but the second half has been different. Have you sort of pinpointed anything, whether it's preparation on the front end or good adjustments at halftime? What's going on there?
I definitely think DJ and his staff are one of the better staffs at adjusting at halftime, but they don't lack in preparation effort either. It's just they had a lot to prepare for this, and we didn't see a lot of this. All of the X-off motions and extra tackle in the game. It was just a lot coming at us pretty fast there in the first half, but no excuse for us. Several of those plays, we're in post high safety, and the high safety, when the quarterback starts scrambling around, decides he needs to not be a post high safety anymore. Let me run up and try to help my friends on. No, if you're deep, you stay deep, and that happened twice. And that's our kids have to understand that and execute that. If we're in one high and you're the post safety, then be the post safety. And that hurt us a couple of times, and we didn't contain the quarterback very well. I thought we looked sluggish, whether it was the wet field or turf or too much workload. Dom got me all the stats from last week on what all of our GPS stuff says on our workload, and it was heavier, probably because we chose to practice in a manner that we let the play go on and on with a quarterback running around, and it looked like we were tired. I thought we played slow and not very disciplined, too many penalties, and we're not playing with poise when we're in position to make a play as a DB, and that's what I felt like. But to answer your question, I think DJ and them do a really nice job of adjusting at halftime.
You mentioned you worried about Brandon Frazier's condition. Just do you have an update on him, and then the other, Cam, and Tutal?
Yeah, he's unfortunately having surgery tomorrow to put a pin in his foot, so he'll be out an extended period of time, which hurts us. He was really playing at a high level for us, so that's disappointing. I hate that for him, and hope he can make it back and for some key games down the stretch for sure. Cam, too tall, too early to tell. Hopeful for sure, but too early to tell. Ken, I would expect would play. He probably could have gone. We just chose to try to hold him out if we could. His is just a calf strain, and I feel confident he'll try to go this week.
With Brandon out, how valuable does Micah become, and how much have you seen out of him from an improvement standpoint?
He's definitely improved. He's matured in handling how you go about doing things in general, and we're thrilled we have him. We're going to need him a lot now. He's going to play a lot of snaps, and between he, Rivaldo, and Luke, and there's different skill sets, and we kind of use them all. We're going to move someone else in that room for our big, when we really want to go big at tight end, and we were actually just getting to that discussion before Kirk came to get me and told me it was time. So, but we probably need somebody to be able to put on a jersey that resembles some type of tight end.
Hugh, you guys rotated on the offensive line again. I saw Tate and Braden both playing at guard. What did you think of that group, and just those guys in particular on the interior with, Dylan having to play right tackle some?
Yeah, I thought we were really solid in the pass pro, very little pressure. Tyler Johnson gave up one pressure. The rest of the time, I thought Hank stood in there and delivered the ball to the right reads. Went through the progressions, but in order to do that, you've got to have protection, and I thought it was pretty solid. There was only one pressure, truthfully, other than the sprint out where they added on a rusher, which that happens. We still threw a touchdown, but in the pocket, I thought it was pretty clean. So I think all of those guys did a nice job. Run game wise, I thought Joyner did really well. Good to see a young kid. Here's the thing that I really is, and I know what the media and everybody wants everything now, but I've told you the way that I'm going to build this program along with our staff, and the most enjoyable thing about that to me is kids like that, and Cam Coleman and Malik Blockton and Waller, and they don't even know anything about this entitlement syndrome yet or anything. They just love playing for Auburn, and that is the culture that we want to build and win with. And heck, Joyner's a kid that I honestly thought about, man, maybe we should consider he needs to maybe go somewhere else at some point. And here the guy is, playing significant snaps for us and will this week again. And you don't have to worry about his passion for playing when he puts that Auburn jersey on, because it stinking means something to him. And we need more and more and more and more and more of those guys being recruited to this place that don't come in and feel like, I've been around this game for 4 years and I want my NIL money and I want to, and I think I've already arrived and am entitled, and then don't work very hard when practice comes around. So I'm enjoying the heck out of coaching people like him and those young kids that it means something to.
You've been, though not on the other side of the ball necessarily, but
when Bobby Petrino was here, you heard constantly his offense is different. His scheme is different than what you see otherwise. Is it still that way, and what makes it as effective as it is?
I haven't watched them on offense yet. I was just been watching defense yesterday and this morning. But I did ask DJ yesterday, has anything changed from what he's normally, and he says it's very similar. What makes it so different is just mostly, it typically has been it's a very, very good mixture of the pro style offense with some of the college flair in it, and doing it out of a lot of big sets with a lot of tight ends that present extra gaps in the run game, but yet he's able to throw all of the 3-level routes and the play actions off of it also. So that's, if you can get in 12 personnel and be effective in running the ball and take shots out of it, that's scary. That's a scary world to live in.
Quick follow-up. Has he been a guy ever, as you've kind of studied and said, maybe I'd like to do some of this or that he does?
No, I wouldn't say that. He and his son came to visit with me when I was at Liberty, and we talked some ball then, but it's not like I've studied a lot of the stuff that they do, and I'm pretty set in my ways on what we do, and it's been successful most places, and just, I don't know, usually when I venture out and try to do things that I don't have answers to, I'm probably not very good. May not be very good in what I know, but I know I'm not very good in stuff I don't know, so.
Keontae's muffed a couple of punts. You talked about the importance of the first thing is catching it. What are your thoughts on punt return?
Yeah, the most important thing after a dadgum special teams play is we have the ball, and that's getting frustrating. And certainly it's not something we beat our kids up over, but we're going. I've already met with special teams, and we're going to figure out who the best option is back there to secure the ball first, and that would give us an opportunity to maybe get a return should the kick. Keontae's been very dangerous when he does those, and he's been pretty solid, but. We need to look at everything. I think we got to get Malcolm Simmons some touches, and is he ready to handle that? Not too much seems too big for him, because he, again, is another one of those kids you just love being around. He came in my office this morning, just sat down and talked, and he's just a kid, and none of the moments seem too big for him, because he's grown up just playing ball in the yard. And that's the kind of way he approaches, practice every day and the games, and it's fun to see that. So it wouldn't shock me if he's pretty natural back there. He's probably our second best punter on the team.
Yeah, you guys run a lot of like a 3-2 front. I don't know what you guys call that. Some people call it a mint or something like that.
That's mint would be 4 down, but.
Yeah, I got you. Whatever. You guys run 3-2 box. I've been doing that more in the last few games.
Odd wide.
Tell me about what advantage you think that gives you, because it seems like on the perimeter, it's hard to get out there.
Well, it's only good against certain things. I don't think any of us believe that that's the answer. If you're playing 12 personnel Arkansas, I don't think you're going to, see us in that. But this team was so, you felt like we could stop the run pretty much against them. They did get some explosive runs against it, which is, it's a light box, and I like running against those boxes. I called several the other night against their 5-man boxes, and we had some real explosive runs. But you should have a lot of support perimeter-wise for these quarterbacks that do what he did, and we just didn't execute it very well when we were in those fronts. But I don't. Every game can change, but typically for DJ, that's more of a 3rd down coverage front that we play. But we did play quite a bit of that against them.
with SEC play starting this week and it being Arkansas at home, what is the biggest threat that they are going to bring to Jordan-Hare on Saturday?
Well, a good football team that's well coached, and they're deep at some places, and they look like an SEC football team, particularly in the O-line and the running backs and tight ends, and quarterback's very, very dangerous. Big defensive line, inside guys are huge. 40's a preseason All-SEC guy at defensive end, and they replaced a couple linebackers, but these guys seem solid. Secondary, they're going to challenge you more. We haven't been challenged like this. They're going to get up and press you and play, a mixture of quarters and man and some three, but they disguise it pretty good. But in all of them, they'll get up and press you. So it's going to test us, and how do we handle getting off the ball against press technique? And we haven't seen a lot of that. Cal's DBs were pretty good, but they were press bail. It wasn't true press. And these guys will truly press you.
Y'all ran the ball more on Saturday. Jarquez had the 20 career or the career high in carries. Is y'all leaning on the run more? Was that like weather dependent, the new quarterback dependent, or is that something you can expect more after throwing it more against Cal?
I've said it before. I just believe in being balanced, and I think we were really balanced the other night. I don't know the numbers run to pass, but the yards were very, very balanced. Some of it's predicated on how we feel about our matchup, O-line against their box. Some of it's predicated on the box count, how many is in it, as opposed to us throwing the football with it. So it's a combination, it's a mixture, but I know that people in the past used to just talk about, well, Freeze wants to throw it. That's never been the case for me, ever. I'd like to hand it off a lot, but you've got to have that average per carry's got to be pretty good, and we've been good in 3 games. We're above 7 yards a carry. But the number of actual handoffs every game is different based on those things that I just mentioned.
Coach, you spoke after the last game about seeing if this is going to be a permanent fix with Hank there, especially as you enter a challenge for him and an experience with SEC play. How do you balance the growth for him and wanting to see him grow with this experience, but also the execution needed out of that position?
Say that one more time. How do I grow him?
Well, just the balance in giving him slack to grow and learn from the experience, but also you need a level of execution out of that spot.
Yeah, I'm not much on slack. He's got to get it done. You got a veteran senior behind him in Peyton that we still have belief in. But Hank looked poised. I don't think the moments are too big for him now. It's what I do think we as coaches have to make sure is. So we've already done base downs, and I go in there and I look on the board, and my immediate reaction is, no, we're not doing all that. We're not even going to go down. We're not even starting this discussion like this. And so I think we've got to be careful of you have to execute at a high level at the quarterback position here to have a chance to win games, or you have to find one that will. And we saw that in the Cal game, and we saw it now. He executed at a high level. We won a football game. All right, it's going to be tougher now. That doesn't mean, though, that the game plan has to be exquisite. It doesn't have to be some 84 plays that we have to win the game. Let's do the plays that schematically match up with what they do, and let's do them very, very well, and do them over and over and over again with the options that we have off of them. And I think Hank can handle all that just fine. The hardest thing will be the checks, and getting us out of. I don't like to just call and haul things, or Nick's call and haul things, knowing it could be bad against if they do this look, it's no good. We really love this play, but I mean, there's some you can run inside zone against anything, you know. That doesn't mean it's great. They may have an extra hat, but you really don't want to run certain plays against certain things, and that's where the quarterback, now how many of those can he handle is what we've got to decide. But I walked in and I saw 4 on the board, and I said, that's too many already. So you better figure out your favorite ones. And so I think it's just us making sure. But as far as he's got to play at a high level, so let's find out what he can do at a high level.
Hey, Hugh, going from Peyton, who's been through the wars before, played in some big-time games, going to a redshirt freshman like Hank, I'm interested, especially his post-game, he's got moxie, he's got some swagger to him. When did you realize, was it in camp? Was it this week when you said not only can he perform well, but he can lead the group and he has the capability to handle the role that is being Auburn's starting quarterback?
So I've recruited Hank since he's a 10th grader at Liberty. He was committed to us there. I don't know if y'all know that or not. So I've believed in Hank a long time, and just got to know he and his family really, really well because they came to a lot of visits and a lot of games. And I've always felt like he had this it factor to him as an individual. That doesn't always translate to him having the it factor in making plays, but every opportunity that he got here, even though the sample size was really, really small, every single time that he got that opportunity, it seemed pretty natural for him. So I've always had this kind of sneaking belief that he had something to him. And now we're getting ready to find out at what level there's no question he does. At what level is that out right now compared to the rest of the SEC? We're getting ready to find out.
Coach, you mentioned Malcolm Simmons and maybe getting him in on punt return. You also noted how dynamic he's been with the ball in his hands. What do you need to see from him maybe to expand his package at slot receiver on the field here moving into SEC play?
Understanding what to do on every single call that we have in the call book for that week, and that's been the biggest struggle. And I'm not beating him up at all because I love this kid, love him, love everything about him. And but he's 100 miles an hour at everything he does with a smile on his face. But that everything he does might be a corner route when it was not even close to what we're supposed to be doing. And he's getting better. Talent-wise, he deserves to be on the field some. So I do think it's time. I did say that before I came down. It's time for us to have a package. And let's quit trying to, all right, well, we're worried if we put him in here and, all right, great. Just give me, I'll find another box on the call sheet that just says Malcolm. And he can do, you know, we feel good about these right now, and just grow with him because he's good enough to be on the field.
You were talking about some of the young players, and in the secondary, Caleb Harris has played a lot.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, how about that story? You know, we weren't even going to offer him, and then I went and watched him practice, and kind of reminds me of Mike Hilton when I wasn't going to offer him either. Now he's the highest paid nickel in the NFL, and I went and watched him practice, and I said, oh, whoa, this guy's he's the alpha dog on the team. And he's the most physical guy we have in the secondary right now.
How much do you like not only him, but some of the younger guys in that secondary, guys that you know we're going to have to step up this year, and how they're kind of growing here these first few weeks?
We still have growth to take place. I don't think we're playing with great poise back there or discipline. Our eyes are in the bad spots at times. We're handsy. I thought Jaden Crawford came in and did really good. We didn't put him in until the fourth quarter, but I thought he played really solid and looked under control and poised. You know, obviously Kaylee didn't play, and we need him to play well there. And it's something I'm selling to the 25 class is we need a couple of big-time safeties and big-time corners to come in and help us in the 25 class, and they're out there. We just got to get them.
All right, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. That is Hugh Freeze there wrapping up his news conference as SEC play begins. I don't know what it is about every SEC game. It feels like it's a little different. And I know Cal was a challenge and the other games that have happened. But when you get in conference, it's like its own little season inside the season. I'm a little excited. I told you during the show that other than Tennessee, Oklahoma, the Herb Street game, primetime ABC, Arkansas, Auburn is my favorite second game on the slate this weekend, just to see Hank Brown against an SEC defense.
I think it'll be interesting. USC, Michigan, interesting too. Alex Orji now the starter. Davis Warren has been benched, but I agree with you. New starter there in Auburn. You get to see him against an SEC defense.
Yeah, this may come up on Unlocked, but they have announced that Bryce Young is being benched for Andy Dalton in Carolina. Unlocked with Lance Taylor and Brock Huard moments away. Quick break here, and then find the link on our YouTube channel at Next Round Live on YouTube. Remember, like and subscribe and thumbs up. Also, Disrupt the Media. And don't forget, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. All that's for you there throughout the day. Thank you for being with us, and that's Overtime on this Monday.